Chapter 139. Khanate Peak. Ning Yu's eyes narrowed, and a look of shock appeared on his face when he sensed the fluctuation of yuan qi around the white-robed man. However, what shocked Ning Yu the most was not the man's cultivation level, but the strength of his soul. Third tier, early stage, alchemist. A tier 3 alchemist. Ning Yu was slightly surprised as he glanced at the 3-star emblem on the white-robed man's shoulder. The man in white was about the same age as him. His cultivation level had reached the Khanate Peak, and his alchemy level had reached the 3rd tier. Leader Zhou, is this the person representing Tianxian City's alchemy union? The white-clothed man sized up Ning Yu, and then he said indifferently, "You have a good relationship with my master. Do you want me to talk to him and introduce my junior brother to you?" My junior brother is a 2nd-tier intermediate stage alchemist, with him representing Tianxian City. I believe you won't be at the bottom. Ahem, let me introduce, this is Ning. Zhou Tong coughed. However, before Zhou Tong could finish his sentence, the man in white waved his hand and said impatiently, "Leader Zhou, let's hurry up. After all, we won't be traveling very fast." As he spoke, the man in white stomped on the ground, and his body turned into a blur as he dashed into the distance. Seeing this, Ning Yu did not make a move immediately. Instead, he asked, "Elder Zhou, who is this? Why is he so imposing?" "His name is Bai Fei. He is from Mingwang City's alchemy union. Bai Fei's master and I are friends. His master asked me to bring him to the capital." Smiling bitterly, Zhou Tong explained, Bai Fei used to be mediocre. His cultivation level was only at the early stage of the Khanate stage, and his alchemy level was only a 1st-tier alchemist. Who would have thought that a month ago, his cultivation level would skyrocket to the Khanate Peak, and his alchemy level would pass the 3rd-tier alchemist test? Bai Fei's alchemy level, even in Danwu College, is comparable to the 2nd or 3rd-year students. Ning Yu, don't be discouraged. In the end, fearing that Ning Yu would suffer a blow, Zhou Tong said, "Although your alchemy skills might be slightly lower than Bai Fei's, your martial arts skills are several streets ahead of him. Haha, old Zhou, don't worry. I am confident that I will obtain a good ranking for Xian Tianxian City," Ning Yu said with a smile. Nodding, Zhou Tong said, "It's good that you think this way. Let's set off quickly. Bai Fei isn't slow." Following that, the yuan qi in Zhou Tong's sea of consciousness surged, and he instantly fled far away. As he knew of Ning Yu's martial prowess, Zhou Tong did not slow down during his journey. Instead, he constantly sped up in an attempt to catch up to Ning Yu. This Bai Fei is a little strange. Although Bai Fei tried his best to conceal it, Ning Yu still caught a hint of something unusual. However, now was not the time to think too much about it. Ning Yu shot forward and caught up to Zhou Tong in no time. After catching up to Zhou Tong, Ning Yu maintained his speed and ran side by side with Zhou Tong. That brat's speed is actually this fast? Not far away, Bai Fei slowed down a little and looked back. Seeing that Ning Yu and Zhou Tong were getting closer and closer, his face turned cold as he said coldly, "Humph, brat who still smells of his mother's milk. I don't believe that you can catch up to me today." After that cold shout, Bai Fei sped up once more, instantly doubling his speed. Damn it, if not for the fact that I have some ties with his master, I definitely wouldn't be traveling with him. Zhou Tong cursed inwardly as the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged, doubling his speed as well. Chase after him. Ning Yu did not expect Zhou Tong to be so angry, so he immediately increased his speed and followed closely behind him. Although Zhou Tong was half a step into the true martial realm, he was no match for Bai Fei in terms of speed. No matter how much he increased his speed, he could not catch up. Knowing that his speed was no match for Bai Fei, Zhou Tong chose to give up. He slowed down and followed slowly. Looking back, he saw that Zhou Tong and the others had slowed down. Bai Fei also felt bored and slowed down. From Tianxian City to the capital, there was a path that one had to pass through, and that was Tiger Head Valley. Tiger Head Valley was located at the border between Tianxian City and Wise Ruler City. The terrain was like a giant tiger's head, hence the name Tiger Head Valley. The entrance of Tiger Head Valley was relatively wide, but the exit was extremely narrow, allowing only one person to pass through at a time. Sha-sha. In the forest, 3 silhouettes quickly passed by. Not long later, they came to a stop. Tiger Head Valley is up ahead. Let's rest here for a while and enter after we've recovered to our peak, Zhou Tong said after stopping. Chairman Zhou, I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Curling his lips, Bai Fei said indifferently. Although Tiger Head Valley's terrain is dangerous, it's only for those with low cultivation. If you want to rest, you guys can rest. I'll make a move first. With that, Bai Fei tapped the ground with his toes and leaped into Tiger Head Valley, quickly disappearing from sight. Looking at Bai Fei's disappearing figure, Zhou Tong's face turned extremely gloomy. Gritting his teeth, he said, Ningyu, let's go in as well. Originally, Zhou Tong wanted to rest here for a while, but since Bai Fei had rushed in, there was no need for him to stay and rest. If Bai Fei encountered any danger, it would be difficult for him to explain to Bai Fei's master when he reached the capital. Xiao! Xiao! In the blink of an eye, Ningyu and Zhou Tong entered Tiger Head Valley. Bai Fei. Not long after entering Tiger Head Valley, Ningyu saw a familiar figure not far away. Why is he standing there? Zhou Tong, who was beside him, was a little puzzled. Wait. However, before Zhou Tong could move, Ningyu grabbed his shoulder and said in a deep voice, Elder Zhou, there are at least 10 Xiantian full circle martial artists around Bai Fei. There are even 2 at the early stage of the true martial realm, and 1 at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Hiss. Hearing Ningyu's warning, even though Zhou Tong was half a step into the true martial realm, he could not help but gasp. With such a lineup, if they were to attack, they would not be able to fight back at all. Although Ningyu was strong and killed Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of true martial realm, Zhou Tong was very clear that Lin Jingtian had just advanced to the middle stage of true martial realm. Compared to an expert in the middle stage of true martial realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. Don't tell me their target is us? Thinking of this, Zhou Tong's face turned extremely ugly. Did they not check the almanac before coming out this time? Or was there someone who had a problem with the Alchemy Union? How dare they surround and attack people from the Alchemy Union? Compared to Zhou Tong, Ningyu's face was much more solemn. Even his heart had sunk to the bottom. Chapter 140. 12 complete Xiantian Realm, 2 early stage true martial realm, and 1 peak middle stage true martial realm martial artist. Inside Tiger Head Valley, Bai Fei's face was extremely gloomy as a cold light flashed in his eyes. What bad luck! I haven't even reached the capital yet, and I've already encountered such big trouble. A ruthless look appeared on Bai Fei's face as he said in a deep voice, Everyone come out and talk. Xiao! 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 The next moment, several whooshing sounds rang out as a large number of martial artists appeared around Bai Fei. Old Ghost Xiao. Seeing the old man leading the group, Bai Fei was slightly startled and said, I have no enmity with you. Why are you stopping me here? So it's Genius Bai Fei of the Alchemy Union. Old Ghost Xiao stood in the air with his hands behind his back, his aura calm. At this moment, he smiled slightly, but his face suddenly changed as he said gloomily, Do I need to ask you for instructions when I do things? With that, Old Ghost Xiao's figure flashed and appeared in front of Ningyu. The corner of his mouth rose as he looked at Ningyu and said, Ningyu, I didn't expect that after 3 days, you've already cultivated to late-stage true martial realm. Old Ghost Xiao, you're not bad yourself. Peak middle-stage true martial realm, just 1 step away from late-stage true martial realm. Taking a step forward, Ningyu said, You really think highly of me to send more than a dozen complete Xiantian realm martial artists at once. Even a lion uses its full strength to catch a rabbit, let alone a hungry wolf like you. The corner of Old Ghost Xiao's mouth rose as he shrugged and said, Last time, you were lucky enough to escape. Today, even if you grow wings, you won't escape. 3 days ago, he failed to catch Ningyu. After returning, Old Ghost Xiao used all his strength to investigate Ningyu. This investigation was not a big deal, but it really shocked him. When he was in the middle stage of the Xiantian realm, he could actually kill Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of the true martial realm. Even if Lin Jingtian was just a dabbler in the middle stage of the true martial realm, it was enough to show that Ningyu was not a simple person. Moreover, the 5th grade alchemist Mu Tuo had doubled his offer. As long as they could capture Ningyu alive, he would refine 2 5th grade elixirs for each of them. This kind of bargaining chip that moved the heart of old Xiao was something he could never refuse. Therefore, to be on the safe side, old Ghost Xiao used all his strength and brought 12 Xiantian peak martial artists. Last time, could it be that Ningyu had already fought with old Ghost Xiao? Furthermore, I managed to escape from him. On the side, hearing the conversation between Ningyu and old Ghost Xiao, Bai Fei was somewhat moved and re-examined Ningyu. Old Ghost Xiao was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. To be able to escape from his hands, he could be considered to have some skill. I am the president of Tianxian City's Alchemist Union. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? Zhou Tong took a step forward and said, "It is better to make enemies than to resolve them. In my opinion, we should all sit down and have a good talk." "You two are also from the Alchemist Union?" Hearing this, old Ghost Xiao was slightly surprised and said, "I originally planned to let you go, but now it seems that I can't." Old Ghost Xiao was not stupid. Although his cultivation had reached the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm, the Alchemist Union was a colossus. If he offended the Alchemist Union, even if he advanced to the Yuan Dan realm, he would not be able to escape misfortune. "Second brother, why are you talking nonsense with them? Leave this old man to me and Bai Fei to 4th brother." At this moment, Gao Shi took a step forward and coldly said, "As for Ningyu, 2nd brother, you deal with him." "Yes, 2nd brother, I have just advanced to the true martial realm and need to find someone to practice with." Looking at Bai Fei, Li Gang evilly smiled and said, "Xiantian Peak, barely passable." "All right." Nodding his head, old Ghost Xiao turned to the many Xiantian Peak martial artists and said, "All of you go to the entrance of Tiger Head Valley and guard it. Without my order, don't let a fly in." "Yes." The 12 perfected Xiantian martial artists leaped up and flew out of Tiger Head Valley in unison. These Xiantian Peak martial artists lined up at the entrance of Tiger Head Valley. Even a true martial realm early-stage martial artist would not dare to barge into Tiger Head Valley. "Jia Jia, old man, it's your bad luck to meet me." With a strange laugh, Gao Shi leaned forward like a cheetah and locked his aura on Zhou Tong. In the next moment, Gao Shi directly rushed toward Zhou Tong. Damn it! Seeing Gao Shi rushing toward Zhou Tong, a cold killing intent flashed across Ningyu's face. In an instant, a violent yuan qi surged out from his body. Ningyu's arms shook and a tyrannical attack swept out from his arms. His figure flashed and appeared in front of Gao Shi. "Go!" A low shout sounded in Ningyu's heart. Immediately, he pushed his right fist forward and directly attacked Gao Shi's head. The fist wrapped in violent yuan qi, with a violent sound of breaking the wind, fiercely smashed toward Gao Shi's head. Sensing that Ningyu's fist was about to hit his head, Gao Shi's complexion changed because this kind of attack had exceeded the limit that a true martial realm early-stage martial artist could display. In a hurry, he hurriedly crossed his arms in front of his body and surged his yuan qi, hoping to defend against Ningyu's attack. "Ningyu, your opponent is me. Xiao Devil's Claw." However, just as the fist was about to hit Gao Shi, a low shout sounded. Immediately, old Ghost Xiao rose from the ground. His right fist turned into a claw and fiercely grabbed at Ningyu's fist. Bang! The fist wrapped in violent yuan qi collided with old Ghost Xiao's sharp claw, and suddenly a muffled sound resounded in Tiger Head Valley. Pucci! The huge force from the fist caused Ningyu's complexion to change. His body retreated a few steps before he could stabilize his body. After stabilizing his body, Ningyu spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. His eyes stared at old Ghost Xiao, his face full of disbelief. "You have advanced to the late stage of true martial realm." "What? Late stage of true martial realm?" Before old Ghost Xiao could answer, Zhou Tong's pupils shrank, and a touch of despair appeared on his face. He is a martial artist at the late stage of true martial realm. Late stage of true martial realm. At this moment, Bai Fei's complexion became extremely grave. If old Gou Xiao was only a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of true martial realm, he could safely retreat without exposing his trump card. However, now that old Gou Xiao had advanced to the late stage of true martial realm, it meant that if he didn't expose his trump card, it was basically impossible to leave here. Old Zhou, I will hold old Gou Xiao and the others. You leave Tiger Head Valley immediately. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice. There are 12 Xiantian Great Perfection martial artists outside Tiger Head Valley. In my opinion, it is better to go deep into Tiger Head Valley and leave from the exit. At this time, Bai Fei also temporarily abandoned his prejudice against Ningyu. After all, Ningyu had forcefully resisted a move from old Ghost Xiao, who was at the late stage of true martial realm. Even if it was him, he was not necessarily any better than Ningyu. No, the exit is too dangerous. Old Ghost Xiao and the others must have set up an ambush. Ningyu knew that outside Tiger Head Valley, there was a martial artist at least at the late stage of true martial realm guarding. Leaving from there was tantamount to throwing away his life. Chapter 141. Leave. The corner of old Ghost Xiao's mouth slightly raised. Immediately, his figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of Zhou Tong. His iron-like fist fiercely punched towards Zhou Tong's cheek. At this moment, old Ghost Xiao's late-stage, true martial realm aura was completely revealed. The powerful aura emitted from his body made Zhou Tong somewhat breathless. Quickly leave Tiger Head Valley. If we delay any longer, no one will be able to leave. With a flick of his wrist, the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. Ningyu shouted in a low voice, Old Zhou, after you leave Tiger Head Valley, find a way to go to the capital. If I can leave, then we will meet in the capital. Let's go. Zhou Tong was not an indecisive person. He knew that the difference in strength between him and Ningyu was too big. Staying here would not be of any help and would only add to the chaos. With his half-step true martial realm cultivation, even Gao Shi was not his opponent, let alone the late-stage true martial realm old Ghost Xiao. Xiao. In the next moment, Zhou Tong and Bai Fei rose from the ground and rushed out of Tiger Head Valley. Seeing that Zhou Tong and Li Gang were about to leave, Gao Shi and Li Gang revealed a ruthless expression and chased after them. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. With a cold expression, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword. Suddenly, two shocking sword auras appeared. With an extremely violent speed, they chased after Gao Shi and Li Gang. In a moment, they arrived in front of them. Then, under the horrified eyes of Gao Shi and Li Gang, the shocking sword auras suddenly became bigger and finally hit their chests. Bang! Bang! Next, two crisp sounds came out. Gao Shi and Li Gang's bodies were like kites with broken strings, falling straight to the ground. Shua! After repelling Gao Shi and Li Gang, Ningyu did not stop. Instead, the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness surged and gathered on his wrists. Human desolate palm. Both palms were pushed out. The surrounding air seemed to be greatly oppressed and scattered. Two human-shaped palm prints appeared in front of Gao Shi and Li Gang, and then fiercely smashed towards their heads. Soul attack technique. When a human desolate palm was thrown out, old Ghost Xiao's face drastically changed. He could feel a tremble from the depths of his soul. Go! Old Ghost Xiao's face turned cold, and he flicked his fingers, sending out two rays of cold light that collided with the human desolate palm. In the next moment, the human desolation palm and the cold light simultaneously dissipated between heaven and earth. Seeing that the desolate man palm had been scattered, Gao Shi and Li Gang felt as if they had just survived a calamity as beads of sweat appeared on their foreheads. Old Zhou and Bai Fei should have left Tiger Head Valley by now. Glancing at Zhou Tong and Bai Fei, who had almost disappeared, Ningyu's heart was slightly relieved. Ningyu knew that with Bai Fei and Zhou Tong's strength, it wouldn't be difficult for them to escape from 12 Xiantian full-circle martial artists. After all, Zhou Tong was half a step into the true martial realm, while Bai Fei's strength should not be lower than the early stage of the true martial realm. Old Ghost Xiao, it's time to settle the score between us. Turning to look at Old Ghost Xiao, Ningyu said in a deep voice, "You've tried to kill me time and time again. Do you really think I'm afraid of you?" With that said, with a thought, Ningyu's clothes were replaced by a dark golden armor. Phantom armor. At this moment, Ningyu summoned the phantom armor. Ningyu, today, I will let you know the gap between the late stage of the Xiantian realm and the late stage of the true martial realm. Seeing the dark golden armor emerging on Ningyu's body, Old Ghost Xiao's face was slightly dignified, but that was all. After all, he could feel that the phantom armor was only a mid-grade Earth-step defensive magic treasure. Old Ghost Xiao, do you think my strength is only at the late stage of the Xiantian realm? The corner of Ningyu's mouth rose as his body shook. Immediately, the qi and the 6 cyclones all burst out and gathered on the surface of his body. The powerful qi that gathered around Ningyu made even Old Ghost Xiao, who had reached the late stage of the true martial realm, feel a headache as he sucked in a breath of cold air. The strength of the qi in your sea of consciousness is actually so strong. The strength of the qi in each of Ningyu's cyclones was equivalent to that of a martial artist at the early stage of the true martial realm. 6 cyclones, the strength of the qi was equivalent to the total strength of 6 martial artists at the early stage of the true martial realm. If a late-stage Xiantian realm martial artist had such a strong qi, what would happen if he advanced to the Xiantian Great Circle, or even the early stage of the true martial realm? Therefore, Old Ghost Xiao made up his mind to capture Ningyu alive no matter what. If he couldn't capture him alive, then he would destroy him. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Ignoring Old Ghost Xiao's shock, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword again and again. In an instant, 6 sword waves formed and surrounded Old Ghost Xiao in the middle. The reason why Ningyu didn't use his full strength was because he was afraid of the peak powerhouses hidden around and didn't want to expose too many of his cards. Insignificant skill. Although he was shocked, Old Ghost Xiao was, after all, a late-stage true martial realm martial artist. It was impossible for him to be scared by Ningyu. His hands grasped the void, and suddenly 6 balls of qi light were caught in his hands. Then, he suddenly threw them at Ningyu's sword wave. Chi 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 chi. Next, 6 crisp sounds rang out. Then, the qi light balls and the Heaven Fiend sword wave dispersed at the same time, and the aftermath spread out. Bang! 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 The powerful aftermath shook the surrounding cliffs, causing gravel to fall down. Xiao! At this moment, Old Ghost Xiao suddenly rushed out, and in the blink of an eye, arrived in front of Ningyu. His fist brought up a violent qi wind as it fiercely punched towards Ningyu's head. This punch was powerful and heavy, containing the qi wind of a late-stage, true martial realm martial artist. If Ningyu was unlucky enough to be hit, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In a split second, Ningyu flicked his wrist, gathered his soul force, wind, thunder, and fire in his palm, and then pushed it out. A nearly tangible palm print fiercely collided with Old Ghost Xiao's fist. Go! The moment the fist and palm collided, a touch of soul force and a touch of wind, thunder, and fire quietly entered Old Ghost Xiao's fist. Not good. Soul attack technique. After the first blow, Old Ghost Xiao, who originally wanted to launch a second attack, had an extremely ugly complexion and hurriedly retreated. This was because he felt 2 rays of cold light enter his body from his fists and wreak havoc inside. Good chance. Teisho Kenpo. The change in Old Ghost Xiao was noticed by Ningyu. He seized the opportunity and once again waved the soul-breaking sword. Rustling sounds rang out as an even more powerful sword wave was formed and fiercely slashed towards Old Ghost Xiao's neck. Above the sword wave, The chi was majestic and vigorous, like thunder falling from the ninth heaven, buzzing. Old Ghost Xiao, it seems that you have just advanced to the late stage of the true martial realm, and your cultivation has not been completely stabilized. Glancing at the exit of Tiger Head Valley from the corner of his eyes, Ningyu lightly said, "If you wait until your cultivation has stabilized before you attack me, you might be able to kill me. But now only death awaits you." With a high degree of concentration, Ningyu always paid attention to the situation around him. Buzz. However, when Teisho Kenpo was about to slash Old Ghost Xiao's head, an illusory figure suddenly appeared in front of Old Ghost Xiao. Chapter 142. Seeing the figure that appeared, Ningyu's pupils shrank, and he could not help but retreat. Staring at the old woman in front of Old Ghost Xiao, Ningyu's expression became incomparably grave. Originally, he thought that the martial artist hidden outside the Tiger Head Valley was at the late stage of the true martial realm, or at most, the peak of the late stage. But now, it seemed that he was wrong, and very wrong. Peak of the true martial realm. The old woman with the crutch had already reached the peak of the true martial realm. Looking at the powerful Yuan Qi fluctuations emitted from her body, she was not far from the Yuan Dan realm. Old Ghost Xiao, you disappoint me. The old woman with the crutch patted Old Ghost Xiao's body, forcing out the wind, thunder, fire, and soul force in his body, and said indifferently, "A small late-stage Xiantian martial artist actually forced you to such a state. If I had not appeared in time, I'm afraid you would have already gone to see the King of Hell." Seeing the old woman with the crutch, Old Ghost Xiao trembled all over and said in a trembling voice, "Elder, please give me another chance. This time, I will definitely tear Ningyu's body into 1,000 pieces." Waving her hand, the old woman with the crutch said, "No need. The young master has ordered us to rush to the capital immediately, so I will deal with this brat for you." Swish! As soon as she finished speaking, the old woman with the crutch's figure flashed, and in an instant, she appeared in front of Ningyu. Who? Swinging the crutch in her hand, it drew a beautiful arc in the air and fiercely smashed towards Ningyu's face. At this critical moment, the broken soul sword in Ningyu's hand suddenly stabbed out, and it collided with the crutch. Ding! When the two collided, there was no earth-shattering sound. There was only a crisp sound. Pucci! However, the backlash from the palm of his hand caused Ningyu to retreat several feet before he could dispel it. Spurting out a mouthful of blood, Ningyu's face was slightly pale. Staring at the old woman with the crutch, Ningyu said in an incredulous voice, "True martial realm, great completion. The Yuan Qi in your sea of consciousness has gradually turned into a liquid, and you're only one step away from the half-step Yuan Dan realm." Noisy. Obviously, the old woman with the crutch was a little impatient with Ningyu's shock. She took a step forward, and the liquid Yuan Qi in her sea of consciousness gushed out, forming an Yuan Dan in the air. Die! The liquid Yuan Dan was extremely fast. Before Ningyu could react, it had already arrived in front of him and fiercely smashed towards his heart. Gotcha! However, the old woman with the crutch, 986, 6 heart, and the old woman with the great, old man with the Dan, 99, king 9 not, the old woman with 9910, yang 10 the great dragon, chinth the soul, 91199. Right, it's a small tortoise shell. After a short period of shock, Ningyu reacted. The thing that blocked the fatal blow in his heart was the small tortoise shell he got from the armored dragon tortoise. However, at this time, the small tortoise shell had cracks on it. Apparently, it was about to shatter. Damn it! Phantom armor, go! Cursing, Ningyu did not dare to stay here any longer. Wrapping his soul force around the phantom armor, he rushed out of the Tiger Head Valley. Although the phantom armor was only a middle-grade Earth-step artifact, its speed was not slow. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared. Elder, that brat Ningyu ran away. Seeing the old woman with the crutch remain indifferent, Old Man Xiao anxiously said, "If we can't kill him today, there will be endless troubles in the future." Old Man Xiao knew the speed of Ningyu's growth. He was afraid that in another 3 days, Ningyu would be able to compete with the old woman with the crutch. Immediately go to the capital and meet up with the young master. As for Ningyu, leave him to me. The old woman with the crutch took the liquid yuan qi in the air back in her sea of consciousness, took a deep breath, and said in a deep voice, "In any case, we can't ruin the young master's plan." Understood. Although he wanted to chase after Ningyu personally, thinking of the young master's ruthlessness, old man Shio nodded and said, "I will mobilize my men and secretly go to the capital." Immediately, the old woman with the crutch rushed out of the Tiger Head Valley. Just now, when Ningyu was not paying attention, the old woman with the crutch injected a special smell into the soul-breaking sword. Now, she just happened to follow the smell and chased after Ningyu. The old woman with the crutch is a true martial realm martial artist. I am absolutely not her opponent. After leaving the Tiger Head Valley, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around the phantom armor and raised his speed to the limit. Not long after, he sensed a powerful figure chasing after him. The phantom armor was a middle-grade earth-step magic weapon, and its speed was comparable to a peak middle-stage true martial realm martial artist. But in the face of the old woman with the crutch, who was at the true martial realm peak, it was obviously not as strong as she wished. "Boy, in front of me, you can't escape." The old woman with the crutch was not anxious at all, and slowly followed behind Ningyu. When Ningyu sped up, she sped up, and when Ningyu slowed down, she slowed down. "Hand over the treasure on you, and I can promise to leave your corpse intact." The reason why the old woman with the crutch was not so anxious was because she was looking at the small turtle shell on Ningyu's body. After all, it was a treasure that could resist her full blow. "Old fart, you want it, don't you?" In any case, his speed was not as fast as the old woman with the crutch. So Ningyu simply stopped and raised the small turtle shell in his hand. "I will not give it to you." With that, Ningyu forcefully swung the small turtle shell in the air and disappeared with a flash of starlight. "Good, very good. Anyway, I can get it after I kill you." The old woman with the crutch secretly remembered the landing point of the small turtle shell, and then lightly said, "In the future, remember not to offend people you shouldn't offend. Old fart, even if I die today, I will make you lose a layer of skin." Ningyu clenched his fists and said fiercely, I am afraid you are not qualified to make me lose a layer of skin." With a slight smile, the old woman with the crutch immediately flashed out. Her body turned into a shadow and attacked Ningyu. In the face of the strong attack of the old woman with the crutch, Ningyu did not dare to be negligent. Holding the broken soul sword in his hand, he repeatedly slashed out several sword lights. At the same time, the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged. Ningyu's wrist made a sign, and in an instant he blasted out several huge palm prints. F*CK, which bastard is it? Does he not want to live anymore? While Ningyu and the old woman with the crutch were fighting, a loud scolding came from the bushes in the distance. "Damn it! How dare you disturb my rest? I think you must have eaten the heart of a bear and the courage of a leopard. No, I mean, how can a bear and leopard be my opponent?" With a curse, a black puppy rushed out of the bushes, holding the small turtle shell that Ningyu had thrown out in its mouth. "Huh? Turtle shell?" After a short scolding, the black puppy looked puzzled, put the turtle shell on the ground, and looked around. Chapter 143. Rumble. In the mountain forest, after the loud noise, Ningyu and the old woman with iron crutches both took a few steps back. The old woman with iron crutches stood with her hands behind her back, looked at Ningyu, and said indifferently, "You should be proud to have withstood 3 of my moves with your late Xiantian cultivation. Now, let's put an end to this." The old woman with iron crutches took a step forward, and suddenly sand and stones flew, and a powerful yuan qi wave broke the small trees around them. The powerful yuan qi wave arrived in front of Ningyu at an extremely astonishing speed, and before the latter could react, it fiercely hit his chest. Because blocking the 3 moves of the old woman with iron crutches consumed too much of his energy, Ningyu had no room to resist. He could only gather the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness in his chest to form a small protective shield. Crack! The small protective shield was, after all, only a small protective shield. As soon as it was hit by the Yuan Qi wave, it shattered. Pucci! The huge force that came from his chest made Ning Yu spit out a mouthful of red blood, and his aura was a little weak. Facing the old woman with iron crutches who was at the peak of the real martial realm. Even if Ning Yu used all his strength, he could only withstand 4 moves. Remember, in the next life, don't. Oh no! Raising her wrist, the old woman with iron crutches was about to strike, but her expression suddenly changed, and she could not help but retreat. Swoosh! As the old woman with iron crutches retreated, a cold light approached from afar and appeared behind her in an instant, blocking her retreat. Old dog, how dare you offend Master Dog? No one in the world can save you. Behind the old woman with iron crutches, the black puppy retreated and stood upright and said fiercely, "Do you want to kill yourself, or do you want me to do it, dog?" Seeing the black puppy, the old woman with iron crutches was obviously stunned, and then she smiled and said, "I was wondering which expert it was, so it's a dog." Dark Emperor. Compared to the old woman with iron crutches, Ning Yu's reaction was much greater. The moment he saw the black puppy, the dejection on his face was swept away, replaced by excitement. "Why are you here?" The Dark Emperor raised his proud head and said casually, "If I wasn't here, wouldn't you be finished? If there's anything else, we can talk about it later. I'll deal with this old fart first." Waving his hand, the Dark Emperor interrupted Ning Yu and said, "You really know how to cause trouble for me. To think that you can even offend a pinnacle, true martial realm cultivator. Pug, you want to kill me? All right, I haven't had dog meat in a long time. I can eat braised dog meat today." The old woman on the crutch curled her lips in disdain. Then, she rolled her eyes and smiled evilly. "A dog that can talk. I'm sure the young master will be satisfied. Courting death." With a cold shout, the Dark Emperor suddenly flew into the air, and a pair of sharp claws fiercely clawed at the old woman with the iron crutch. With a cold expression, the old woman threw her walking stick forward to meet the Dark Emperor's claw. It was obvious that the old woman had underestimated the Dark Emperor's strength. The moment the crutch and the sharp claws came into contact, the Dark Emperor suddenly swung his tail and heavily whipped the old woman's arm. Letting out a scream, the old woman quickly retreated. The bloody marks on her arm caused the old woman with the crutch to fly into a rage. The aura of the great circle of the true martial realm was undoubtedly revealed as she crazily suppressed the Dark Emperor. "You're still too young to compete with me in terms of aura." The corner of his mouth rose into an evil smile as the Dark Emperor roared towards the sky. The aura around his body instantly rushed out, suppressing the old woman with the crutch to the point where she couldn't breathe. The Dark Emperor's strength has increased again. Defeating the old woman with the iron crutch is only a matter of time. Ning Yu knew that he was safe now, so he hurriedly retreated to the side, took out a few high-grade origin crystals, circulated the spirit transformation art, and began to slowly absorb them. The fight with the old woman with the iron crutch had exhausted the Yuan Qi in Ning Yu's sea of consciousness, and he had almost lost his combat strength. Now, he could use this opportunity to recover. Rumble, rumble. While Ning Yu was recovering, the Dark Emperor and the old woman with the iron crutch were engaged in a great battle. Yuan Qi light wave. The liquid Yuan Qi in the old woman's sea of consciousness poured out and blasted towards the Dark Emperor. Facing the boundless Yuan Qi that was attacking him, a strange smile appeared on the Dark Emperor's face. He then opened his mouth, and an extremely powerful suction force came out from his mouth. "This is bad." Feeling the huge suction force coming from the Dark Emperor's mouth, the old woman with the crutch's expression changed drastically. She wanted to retract the liquid Yuan Qi. Gulp. However, the old woman with the crutch was clearly half a beat too slow. A pair of purplish gold wings appeared on the Dark Emperor's back, causing his speed to increase explosively. In an instant, he swallowed the old woman with the crutch's liquid Yuan Qi into his mouth. After swallowing the liquid Yuan Qi, the Dark Emperor burped and said, "Great nourishment, truly great nourishment." If I have another 100 of these liquid yuan qi for me to devour, I'm afraid I can complete the first stage of evolution. Run. The moment the liquid yuan qi was devoured by the Dark Emperor, the old woman with the crutch completely lost the courage to resist. Her feet touched the ground, and she used all her strength to escape. However, how could she, who had lost her liquid yuan qi, be faster than the Dark Emperor? Without much effort, the Dark Emperor grabbed the old woman with the crutch and threw her in front of Ningyu. Speak. You decide how to deal with her. There's no use in keeping her. Kill her. Frowning slightly, Ningyu said, Wait, I still want to ask her a question. After thinking for a while, before Ningyu could finish a sentence, he saw the Dark Emperor grab the old woman with the crutch's walking stick and smash it towards the old woman's head. With a raise of the crutch, the old woman with the crutch was smashed to death by her own crutch. Ningyu, why didn't you say so earlier? Looking at the old woman with the crutch who was lying on the ground, the Dark Emperor threw the crutch on the ground and said, It's too late now. This old bastard has already gone to see the King of Hell. Forget it. I don't have any big problems. Originally, Ningyu wanted to ask the old woman with the crutch about the young master, but since she had been killed, there was no need to ask. This crutch is not bad. It should be a low-grade heaven-rank magic treasure. Picking up the crutch on the ground and putting it into his storage ring, Ningyu said, It's a waste not to take it. Up to you, I don't need any crutches anyway. Shrugging, the Dark Emperor threw the small turtle shell to Ningyu and said, This turtle shell should also be yours. I can feel a trace of your aura on it. Putting the small turtle shell into his storage ring, Ningyu asked, Dark Emperor, why are you here? Also, didn't you go to investigate the location of the corpse sect's headquarters? How was the investigation going? The people of the corpse sect are extremely sinister and cunning. They must have hidden their headquarters. When the corpse sect was mentioned, the Dark Emperor suddenly became angry. After searching for several days, he still couldn't find any information about the corpse sect headquarters. Chapter 144. Secret Base. Raising his brows, Ningyu asked doubtfully, What secret base? Where did you find it? In the process of investigating the corpse sect's headquarters, I found a corpse sect early-stage true martial realm martial artist who was behaving abnormally. Speaking of the secret base, the Dark Emperor was somewhat proud and said, Every 2 days, he would purchase some things from Bright King City and then send them to the secret base. Do you know what's in the secret base? Ningyu asked. I'm not too sure about that. Slightly embarrassed, the Dark Emperor said, but it doesn't matter. With my strength, even if I force my way into the secret base, it won't be a big problem. Although he didn't know what was in the secret base, the Dark Emperor had already investigated it. The secret base was in a cave not far away, and there was a formation at the entrance. Every 2 days, the true martial realm early-stage martial artist would enter the cave, and at that time, the formation would be opened, which was also the best time for them to enter the cave. Dark Emperor, we can't be careless about this matter. Let's make sure that there are no mistakes before we act. Ningyu knew how sinister the corpse sect was, so he decided to investigate thoroughly before entering the cave. If there was an origin core realm expert in the cave, then their gains would not make up for their losses. I don't care. Since you want to investigate, do as you please. Shrugging, the Dark Emperor said, Today is the day that the corpse sect early-stage, true martial realm martial artist goes to the cave. I can capture him and let you interrogate him. All right, let's do that. Nodding his head, Ningyu said, Follow me. In the next moment, the Dark Emperor kicked the ground and rushed into the distance. Following closely behind, Ningyu chased after him. Rustle. In the dense shrubs, 2 figures were lying on the ground. Emperor of the Dark World, when will the person you mentioned come over? Ningyu followed the Dark Emperor to the bushes and hid inside. However, after hiding inside for more than half a day, not even a shadow was seen. Ningyu couldn't help but say, Don't miscalculate the time. Is he not coming today? Don't be in such a hurry. Wait a bit more. The Dark Emperor was rather relaxed. He laid in the shrubbery, closing his eyes to rest, not minding at all. Helpless, Ningyu could only choose to wait quietly. Crack, crack. In the evening, the sound of a few branches being stepped on could be heard. Then, the Dark Emperor suddenly opened his eyes and said in a low voice, "He's here." Not long after the Dark Emperor spoke, two silhouettes appeared nearby. Two people? Looking at the two figures in the distance, Ningyu was slightly stunned, and then said, "Emperor Dark, didn't you say that there was only one person? Why are there two of them now?" And at this point, Ningyu paused for a moment and continued. "One of them had a 5th grade soul force. If I'm not wrong, he should be an alchemist. I don't know what's going on either." The Dark Emperor was also a little puzzled. The previous few times, he had come alone. As for why there were two people today, he did not understand either. Who cares about one or two of them? Let's capture them first. After a brief moment of doubt, the Emperor of Darkness wanted to step forward, but he was pressed to the ground by Ningyu. "Don't move, I know one of them. Mutual, a Tier 5 alchemist." Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice, 3 days ago, Mutuo's soul strength was only at the 4th level, and had yet to recover to the 5th level. In just 3 short days, his soul strength had already recovered to the 5th level. There must be something strange about this. Ningyu knew that the soul nourishment method he had given Mutuo was only the first half, and was completely insufficient for Mutuo to recover his soul strength to the 5th level in 3 days, or even improve. From this, it could be seen that there was definitely an extraordinary secret in the cave. "You mean there are martial artists with powerful soul strength in the cave?" The Dark Emperor was not stupid, but very smart. As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, he reacted. However, the Dark Emperor was obviously impatient, and said, "Ningyu, although that Mutuo's soul strength has reached the 5th level, his cultivation is very low, only at the early stage of the true martial realm. Why don't I capture them and interrogate them?" "No hurry. We'll talk about it later." Ningyu concealed his aura and said slowly, "The two of them are just martial artists in the early stage of the true martial realm. With your strength, you can easily kill them. How about this? I will temporarily enter the storage ring. When you enter the cave, call me out." With that, the Dark Emperor turned into a shadow and entered the storage ring. Swoosh! When the Dark Emperor entered the storage ring, far away, Mutuo raised his eyebrows and said to the one-eyed martial artist next to him, "Did you notice anything wrong? Something wrong?" "Master Mutuo, I didn't notice anything wrong." The one-eyed martial artist was puzzled. Although the one-eyed martial artist cultivation was at the early stage of the true martial realm, his soul strength was relatively weak. If even Mutuo could not sense it, he naturally could not notice it. "Forget it. Telling you is useless." Mutuo released a little of his soul strength and probed the situation around him. After a while, he withdrew his soul strength and said indifferently, "Has Master Lung's condition improved in the past 2 days?" Master Lung's soul strength has recovered to the middle stage of the 5th level. Only a step away from the late stage of the 5th level, the one-eyed martial artist did not dare to be negligent and said hurriedly, "This time, the sect sent a large number of herbs and gave us a strict order to help Master Lung recover his soul strength to the 6th level." Mutuo said solemnly, "How is the defense of the cave?" "Master Mutuo, there is a 10-killing formation at the entrance of the cave. Even a martial artist at the middle stage of the true martial realm may not be able to break in," the one-eyed martial artist replied. "Moreover, there are many corpse guards in the cave, and there are many traps. Unless you are a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm, even if you enter the cave, you will die." Not enough. Hearing the one-eyed martial artist's words, Mutuo pondered for a moment, then flicked his sleeve, and a black token appeared in his hand. "We must ensure Master Lung's safety. Take my 5-star token and head to Bright King City as fast as possible. Mobilize all the forces of the Corpse Een sect in Bright King City." Originally, Mutuo did not intend to mobilize such a large force, but a trace of trembling in the depths of his soul made him raise his guard. After all, if something happened to Master Lung, he would also have to bear the consequences. "Yes, Master Mutuo." After receiving the black token from Mutuo's hand, the one-eyed martial artist's figure flashed, and he returned the way he came. As for Mutaw, he stood in the same place for a while, then moved his feet and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After confirming that Mutaw was far away, Ningyu came out of the bushes. After coming out, Ningyu did not linger. His soul moved, and the phantom armor appeared. Xiao. Chapter 145. Whoosh. The speed of the phantom armor was enough to catch up with a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. The one-eyed martial artist was only at the early stage of the true martial realm, so after a while, Ningyu caught up with him. Brat, what are you trying to do? Seeing Ningyu, the one-eyed martial artist narrowed his eyes and said coldly, If you know what's good for you, leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Teisho Kenpo. After catching up with the one-eyed martial artist, Ningyu did not waste any time. Instead, he waved the soul-severing sword and attacked with a sword wave. Chi-chi. The sword wave was so fast that it even created a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. In the next moment, the sword wave hit the one-eyed martial artist's chest. The huge impact caused the one-eyed martial artist to retreat several feet. Xiao. With his attack successful, Ningyu rushed out with the soul-severing sword in his hand, arriving in front of the one-eyed martial artist in the blink of an eye. Pointing the soul-severing sword at the one-eyed martial artist's neck, Ningyu said lightly, Answer a few questions of mine. After I answer your questions, will you let me go? After a short fight, the one-eyed martial artist had already determined that the gap between him and Ningyu was huge. You have no choice. The soul-severing sword slightly pierced into the one-eyed martial artist's skin. Ningyu said, First question, what is in the cave? Master Lung is in the cave. The one-eyed martial artist said carefully, Master Lung is a 6th-grade alchemist. He is very powerful. Second question, how can I enter the cave without triggering the 10 killings array? Ningyu continued, The 10 killings array has an array eye. As long as you find the array eye and close it, you will not trigger the 10 killings array. The one-eyed martial artist rolled his eyes and said, Where's the array eye? Ningyu asked, Come closer, and I will tell you where the array eye is. The one-eyed martial artist said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Ningyu was stunned. He then moved closer to the one-eyed martial artist. Xiao. However, when Ningyu was 30 centimeters away from the one-eyed martial artist, the one-eyed martial artist suddenly jumped up and shot out a silver needle from his sleeve, fiercely stabbing at Ningyu's head. Humph! I already expected you to use this move. How could I let you succeed? Ding! With a cold snort, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword in his hand and cut the silver needle in half. Desolation palm. After that, Ningyu's soul power gathered in his palm. He pushed out his palm, and a human-shaped palm print appeared, gradually expanding in the one-eyed warrior's eyes. In the end, it fiercely slammed down. The one-eyed cultivator screamed like a pig being slaughtered. The one-eyed cultivator's mouth gaped open, and the horror in his eyes intensified. Until the moment of his death, he did not understand how Ningyu had discovered his sneak attack. My soul power is much stronger than yours. I have already discovered the silver needles hidden in your sleeves. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu started searching the one-eyed warrior's body. Soon, a black token appeared in Ningyu's hand. 5 skulls. Seeing the 5 skulls on the token, Ningyu was a little shocked. When he first heard Mutuo's words, he thought the black token would have 5 stars. Who would have thought that there were 5 skulls on the token? Without thinking too much, Ningyu put the black token into his interspatial ring and said with a frown, Although I killed the one-eyed martial artist and cut off the connection between Mutuo and the Corpsine sect, the 10 killing array is still a problem. I wonder if the Dark Emperor has a way to break the 10 killing array. Thinking of this, Ningyu inserted his soul power into his interspatial ring and called out the Dark Emperor. Didn't I tell you to call me when you enter the cave? After coming out, the Dark Emperor looked left and right. When he found that he was not in front of the cave, he was a little unhappy and muttered, My sweet dream was ruined by you just like that. If you have something to say, spit it out. I still need to find my Ahua. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu's face darkened. It seemed that he had disturbed the Dark Emperor's daydream. However, Ningyu didn't have time to argue with the Dark Emperor. He went straight to the point and said, "Dark Emperor, you've been to the cave several times. Do you have a way to break the 10 killing array? 10 killing array? That kind of low-level array can't stop me." The Dark Emperor patted his chest and said, "When the time comes, you can follow behind me. I'll bring you into the cave. Also, don't disturb me with such trivial matters in the future. I'll go in and sleep for a while. You can go into the cave first." With that, the Dark Emperor was about to enter the interspatial ring. "Dark Emperor, what I mean is, can you enter the cave without anyone noticing?" Ningyu was a little speechless, under the premise that you don't trigger the 10 killing array. Indeed, with the Dark Emperor's strength, forcefully tearing apart the defense of the 10 killing array was not a difficult task. But the key point was that they did not understand the situation in the cave. If the people inside were to be alerted and escape through the small path, wouldn't their efforts be in vain? After telling the Dark Emperor about the worries in his heart, the Dark Emperor also fell into deep thought. After a moment, the Dark Emperor said, "It's not impossible to enter the cave without anyone noticing." "What method?" Ningyu asked. "I'll transform into my main body and devour the 10 killing array." The Dark Emperor's words shocked everyone to death. The moment he spoke, Ningyu was shocked to the point that his face was filled with stupefaction. Devouring 10 killing array? Perhaps only the Dark Emperor could think of such a bold idea. "Dark Emperor, can you be more practical?" Ningyu was a little speechless as he said. "The 10 killing array is set up at the entrance of the cave, covering the entire entrance." Spreading out his hands, the Dark Emperor said, "Every time the one-eyed martial artist enters the cave, there will be 2 martial artists in the early stage of the true martial realm coming out of the cave and temporarily sealing the formation core from the inside. If we stand in front of the cave, I'm afraid the warriors inside will come out and fight us to the death." Shrugging, the Dark Emperor said casually, "One-eyed warrior. That's right, one-eyed warrior." Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu revealed a look of joy and hurriedly said, "I can pretend to be a one-eyed warrior and then enter the cave." "The heck? Ningyu, when did you become so smart?" The Dark Emperor looked at Ningyu as if he was looking at a monster, revealing an exaggerated expression. "Cut the crap. Pretend to be a one-eyed warrior. I need your help." Waving his hand, Ningyu said, "How can I help you?" "All I can do is start a massacre after entering the cave." Curling his lips, the Dark Emperor said, "I've learned the art of disguise before, so it's not difficult to imitate a one-eyed warrior. It's just that I don't have some medicinal herbs at the moment, so I need you to go to the nearest city to help me get them." In his previous life, Ningyu had learned a lot of things, and he had naturally dabbled in techniques like the art of disguise. However, as the saying goes, a clever housewife can't cook without rice. Even if he had learned the art of disguise, without the medicinal herbs, it would be impossible for Ningyu to become a one-eyed warrior. Looking at Ningyu, the Dark Emperor felt a little helpless and said, "All right, tell me what medicinal herbs you need. I'll help you find them." "Human face grass, leg flower, Jew flower, smoke leaf." After receiving the Dark Emperor's confirmation, Ningyu listed out more than a dozen medicinal herbs. "What kind of messy medicinal herbs are these?" "Just you wait, I'll go give it a try. Whether or not I can find it will be up to the heavens." After grumbling, the Dark Emperor's figure flashed, and he left the place. The medicinal herbs that Ningyu had named were all the most ordinary first-grade medicinal herbs, and there were many of them on the market. Chapter 146. In a dark stone chamber, 2 people were conversing. "Master Lung, this is the spirit lotus seed that the sect asked me to bring. I hope that it can help you recover your soul strength to grade 6. After parting ways with the one-eyed cultivator, Muto rushed to the cave. After all, the sect had given him an order to restore Master Lung to his peak as soon as possible. Mutua did not dare to delay. The spirit lotus seed is a grade 7 medicinal herb. It is incomparably precious. I will not let the sect down. Master Lung was around 70 years old. His hair was white, his eyes were bright, and his aura was steady. Taking the storage pouch from Mu Tuo, Master Lung probed it with his soul strength. A moment later, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Not bad. There are 3 spirit lotus seeds. Furthermore, there are many other medicinal herbs that can recover soul strength. With these medicinal herbs, I should be able to recover my soul strength to grade 6 in 3 days. Taking a deep breath, Master Lung's eyes glowed. Pass down my order. Without my permission, no one is to enter this stone chamber. Yes, Mu Tuo replied and left the stone chamber. Master Mu Tuo, someone wants to enter the cave. As soon as Mu Tuo left the stone chamber, a corpse guard walked up and said, "Do you want to who? Who wants to enter at this time?" Mu Tuo interrupted the corpse guard with a frown. "One-eyed cultivator," the corpse guard replied. As Mu Tuo had said that anyone who entered the cave would have to go through his permission, the corpse guard did not dare to let the one-eyed cultivator in. One-eyed cultivator? Didn't he head to Bright King City? Why is he back so soon? Mu Tuo frowned doubtfully. Logically speaking, no matter how fast the one-eyed cultivator was, he should be in Bright King City at this time. Let's go and take a look. Since there was nothing for him to do here, Mu Tuo decided to take a look to see what the one-eyed cultivator was up to. Master Lung's safety had to be guaranteed. If the one-eyed cultivator dared to spoil his plans, Mu Tuo did not mind teaching him a lesson. Shwa, shwa. The stone chamber was not too far from the entrance of the cave. A few minutes later, Mu Tuo arrived at the entrance. One-eyed cultivator, didn't you go to Bright King City? When he saw the familiar figure standing outside the cave, Mu Tuo said in a low voice, "Why have you returned so quickly?" "Grandmaster Mu Tuo, I have something urgent to report to you." Outside the cave, the one-eyed martial artist had an anxious look on his face as he hurriedly said, "I've received definite news that someone will launch an attack on this base." Hearing this, Mu Tuo was startled and asked, "Who dares to attack the corpse sex base?" "Grandmaster Mu Tuo, this. I've only just heard about this." The one-eyed cultivator was obviously very anxious, and he even stuttered a little. "I brought your 5-star token to Bright King City." Halfway there, I was lucky enough to overhear a conversation between 2 powerhouses. They were going to attack this base. With that, the one-eyed martial artist flicked his wrist, and a black 5-star token appeared in his hand. According to my conjecture, their strength is at least at the middle stage of the true martial realm. I did not dare to be negligent and immediately returned to inform you. Control the formation core and let the one-eyed martial artist in. Although he was somewhat doubtful, Mu Tuo still ordered the corpse guards to control the formation core and let the one-eyed martial artist enter the cave. However, he secretly made a mark with his right hand behind his back. As this mark was made, the void in the cave faintly trembled. Whoosh! The one-eyed martial artist did not know what Mu Tuo was doing. Seeing that the formation core was under control, his face lit up with joy and he leaped into the cave. "Grandmaster Mu Tuo, this is your 5-star token." After entering the cave, the one-eyed martial artist immediately handed the black token to Mu Tuo. Putting away the black token, Mu Tuo said indifferently, "Well, tell me what those 2 martial artists said." "Grandmaster Mu Tuo, those 2 martial artists. Not good." However, before the one-eyed martial artist could finish speaking, his expression changed dramatically and he hurriedly retreated several steps. Whoosh! As the one-eyed martial artist retreated, a large number of corpse guards suddenly rushed out from behind Mu Tuo. The strength of these corpse guards was between the early and middle stages of the true martial realm, and there were 20 to 30 of them. Moreover, the corpse guard at the very front had strength comparable to a peak middle stage true martial realm martial artist. Did they discover me? Ning Yu's heart trembled, and the origin chi in his sea of consciousness surged slightly. However, he did not immediately attack. He believed that his disguise technique was superb, and with Mu Tuo's eyesight, he would definitely not discover him. Mu Tuo slowly retreated to the middle of the corpse guards and said indifferently, "One-eyed martial artist, I'll give you a chance. Tell me what happened." "Grandmaster Mu Tuo, I don't understand what you're saying." Hearing Mu Tuo's words, Ning Yu calmed down. Since Mu Tuo had not discovered that the real one-eyed martial artist was dead, There was a need for him to continue acting. With an angry expression, Ningyu said, "Everything I said is the truth. Even if I see Grandmaster Long, I will say the same thing." "Haha, you want to see Grandmaster Long, right? I'll fulfill your wish." Mu Tuo smiled and waved his hand. Two corpse guards stepped forward, one on each side of Ningyu. "Grandmaster Lung is currently in seclusion. You will only be able to see him when he comes out," Mu Tuo said. "As for now, I'll have to trouble you for now. Bring him to the last stone chamber." The two corpse guards brought Ningyu into the depths of the cave. 10 minutes later, Ningyu was brought to the door of a stone chamber. Clang! One of the corpse guards opened the heavy stone door and brought Ningyu in. "One-eyed martial artist, wait here for now." At the door of the stone chamber, Mu Tuo hesitated for a moment before saying, "As for your innocence, I will investigate it thoroughly." Mu Tuo instructed, "Look after the stone chamber. Without my permission, don't let a fly out. It seems that I will have to make a trip to Bright Ruler City personally." Frowning slightly, Mu Tuo felt that there was something fishy about this matter. Taking a deep breath, he walked out of the cave. Whoosh! Inside the stone chamber, the Dark Emperor suddenly rushed out from his spatial ring. "Ningyu, why didn't you let me make a move just now? Against these small fries, I can kill them with a flick of my finger." The Dark Emperor was clearly a little unhappy as he grumbled. "Dark Emperor, Mu Tuo was only suspicious of me. He didn't guess that the one-eyed martial artist had already been killed by us." Ningyu said, "Since this cave is the corpse sex base, there must be some formations and powerful cultivators inside. If we act rashly, we might alert them." "Then tell me, what should we do now?" The Dark Emperor said. We are currently in the depths of the cave. Why don't you use your advantage and find out which stone chamber that Grandmaster Long is in?" Chapter 147. Swish! Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor flapped his purplish gold wings and floated in the air. Staring at Ningyu with interest, the Dark Emperor's eyes revealed a hint of admiration. "Not bad. Not bad at all. I didn't expect you to be so smart." "I'm going to faint." Rolling his eyes, Ningyu said, "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and find Master Lung's stone room. I'm afraid Mu Tuo will go to Bright Ruler City to call for reinforcements." "Oomph. Why would I be afraid of his reinforcements?" The Dark Emperor snorted and said angrily, "If one comes, I'll kill one. If two come, I'll kill a pair." "Come. All right. I know you're strong." Ningyu interrupted the Dark Emperor and said, "Do you still want to go to the corpse sex treasure vault? If you do, then hurry up and do it. As long as we find Master Long, not only will we be able to obtain treasures and pills, we can even force him to tell us where the corpse sex headquarters is." Facing the Dark Emperor, Ningyu could only use provocation. "That's right. Why didn't I think of that?" As expected, the Dark Emperor was provoked. He quickly unleashed his perception and began to search for Master Lung's location. In fact, Ningyu's perception was not weak. After all, his soul force had reached the middle phase of the 4th grade. However, Ningyu did not unleash his soul force because he didn't know how much Master Lung had recovered. If he attracted Master Lung's attention, it would not be worth it. The Dark Emperor was different. He was from the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. The clan had a unique perception method. Even if Master Lung's soul force had recovered to the 6th grade, it would still be difficult for him to discover him. Buzz! 1 minute later, the Dark Emperor withdrew his perception. His lips curled up as he said to Ningyu, "I found him. There is a cultivator with a strong soul energy in a secret room 30 meters away from us. If I'm not wrong, he should be Master Lung." 30 meters? Ningyu did not doubt the Dark Emperor's judgment, but 30 meters was not a good distance for them to cross. After thinking for a moment, Ningyu said, "Dark Emperor, does your Heaven-Devouring Dog clan know how to burrow?" A distance of 30 meters was neither long nor short. With the speed of Ningyu and the Dark Emperor, it would only take a moment for them to arrive. However, Ningyu was worried that they would trigger the hidden array and alert the enemy. Then all their efforts would be in vain. F***CK. As soon as Ningyu finished speaking, the Emperor of the Dark World couldn't help but curse. Dig a hole? You actually want the Dark Emperor to dig a hole? How unreasonable. Only rats can dig holes. If you want to dig a hole, do it yourself. I won't help you. Wait. Dark Emperor, what did you just say? Ningyu asked with a deep frown. Go dig a hole yourself. I won't help you. The previous sentence. Only rats can dig holes. That's right. Ningyu slapped his thigh and said happily, Rats, rats, this is great. Then, Ningyu activated his soul force and summoned the Phantom Armor. The Phantom Armor is the treasure of the Phantom Rat clan. Not only can it fly in the air, but it can also walk underground. Ningyu said, Dark Emperor, tell me where Master Lung is and I will take you there. Why didn't you take it out earlier? With a flash, the Dark Emperor entered the storage ring. That stone room is 31 meters east. Understood. After putting away the storage ring, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around the Phantom Armor and suddenly leaped into the air. Then, he dived into the ground with his head facing downward. Chi chi chi. After entering the underground, Ningyu first drilled downwards. He only stopped after traveling for several dozen meters. Then, he turned his head and drilled towards the east. After all, this was the territory of the Corpsine sect. To be safe, Ningyu felt that it was worth it even if it took a little more time. Crack! However, after moving 10 meters east, Ningyu encountered an obstacle. His head hit something hard. What? After stabilizing his body, Ningyu looked around. He saw a fist-sized object 1 meter in front of him that was emitting a scorching light. Essence-gathering stone? Seeing the body of the glowing object, Ningyu slightly frowned and said with some doubt, Essence-gathering stones are usually used to arrange essence-gathering arrays. They are extremely precious. Why would there be one here? Then, Ningyu slightly released his soul force, trying to get closer to the essence-gathering stone. Hiss! However, as soon as his soul force spread out, Ningyu took a deep breath and then revealed an ecstatic expression. Essence-gathering array. It must be the essence-gathering array. What a big move. The Corpsine sect is really big. Ningyu found that there was a steady stream of pure essence chi flowing around the essence-gathering stone. This essence chi came from 3 directions and was all injected into the essence-gathering stone. Then it moved eastward. Once again releasing his soul force, Ningyu carefully controlled it to move around. About 15 minutes later, Ningyu withdrew his soul force back into his body. He took a deep breath and murmured, There are 9 other essence-gathering stones around this essence-gathering stone. If I didn't guess wrong, the essence-gathering stone 20 meters to the east should be the eye of the essence-gathering formation. All the essence chi is revolving around it. 20 meters east is the bottom of the stone room where Master Lung is. Frowning, Ningyu thought of a countermeasure. The amount of essence-gathering array that was arranged with 10 essence-gathering stones was extremely shocking. With such a huge amount of essence chi, Ningyu definitely did not want to miss it. First, find the core of the array, then think of a way. With a serious expression, Ningyu took out the Phantom Armor and slowly moved toward the core of the array. The distance of 20 meters took Ningyu half an hour to cover. I was right. This essence-gathering stone is the core of the essence-gathering array. Looking at the 2 fist-sized essence-gathering stones in front of him, Ningyu's face turned serious. This was because he realized that the essence chi that was gathered by the essence-gathering stone was rising continuously. Its final destination was the stone room where Master Lung was. I have to think of a way to get this pure essence chi. Looking at the essence chi that was disappearing in front of him, Ningyu clenched his fists and took out the Black Dragon Pouch. The Black Dragon Pouch was a heaven-level lower-grade artifact that Ningyu had obtained from Zhongjin. Although it was slightly damaged, it did not affect its power. Absorb it. As soon as he opened the Black Dragon Pouch, a strong suction force gushed out, and endless essence chi began to enter the Black Dragon Pouch. I'm absorbing 1/10 of the essence chi. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Ningyu concentrated and did not dare to relax at all. The essence gathering array was gathering a lot of essence chi. Although the suction force of the Black Dragon Pouch was strong, 90% of the essence qi still rose continuously and entered the stone room where Master Lung was. Swoosh! However, not long after the black dragon pouch started to absorb the essence qi, a cold ray of light shot out from Ningyu's body. Then, a terrifying suction force emerged and sucked away all the essence qi around the essence gathering stone. Chapter 148. The sudden change made Ningyu's expression change drastically as he looked towards the source of the cold light. The pendant. Soon, Ningyu discovered the true identity of the cold light. It was none other than the semicircular blue pendant given to him by Ninghai. This pendant has such a strong suction force. Could it be a spatial magical equipment? Ningyu knew that the blue pendant was a magical equipment that could devour souls. But he did not expect the pendant to be able to devour vitality. Moreover, its speed was several times faster than the heaven lower grade black dragon pouch. My father told me to hand the pendant to the old man, named Wu Xie, when I arrive at Danwu College. Frowning slightly, Ningyu muttered, "Fine, I'd like to see if it can devour all the yuan qi gathered by the essence gathering formation." Since the pendant could absorb vitality at an extremely fast speed, Ningyu simply put the black dragon pouch into his storage ring and released his soul power to monitor his surroundings closely. The stone chamber where Master Lung was the focus of Ningyu's attention. The vitality gathering formation was supposed to send the vitality gathering formation to Master Lung's stone chamber. Now that the pendant had intercepted all the vitality gathering formation, Master Lung would not let it go easily. Therefore, Ningyu dared not be careless. If there was any movement, he would immediately retrieve the pendant and quickly enter the stone chamber where Master Lung was, allowing the Dark Emperor to control Master Lung. At the same time, in the stone chamber above Ningyu, Master Lung sat on a circular altar. With a thought, a spiritual lotus seed appeared in his hand. Looking at the spiritual lotus seed in his hand, Master Lung was overjoyed. He opened his mouth wide and swallowed it. Buzz! As soon as the spiritual lotus seed entered his stomach, Master Lung quickly controlled his soul power to approach it and refined it with all his might. The 7th grade medicinal herb, the spiritual lotus seed, was a sacred medicine that could recover one's soul force. Although it was much weaker than the crystal jade pill, 3 spiritual lotus seeds were enough to heal the damage to Master Lung's soul. 15 minutes later, Master Lung's eyes slightly narrowed as he slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Advanced Grade 5. A single spiritual lotus seed has already restored my soul force to the Advanced Grade 5. The remaining 2 spiritual lotus seeds and many other soul force recovery herbs will definitely be able to restore my soul force to the Advanced Grade 5. Subsequently, Master Lung swallowed the remaining 2 spiritual lotus seeds. Master Lung revealed a painful expression after swallowing the 2 spiritual lotus seeds. Pure yuan qi. However, Master Lung suddenly slammed his palm on the altar beneath him, causing a pillar of primal qi to appear and enter his body. As the majestic vital energy entered his body, Master Lung did not dare to be negligent. He quickly circulated his spell and controlled the vital energy to envelop the spiritual lotus seed. Refine. The sudden increase in vital energy in his body gave Master Lung great confidence. He gathered all of his Grade 5 soul force around the spiritual lotus seed and pressed it down hard. With the combination of his advanced Grade 5 soul force and the majestic vital energy, the 2 spiritual lotus seeds were refined in no time. The medicinal efficacy of the refined spiritual lotus seeds slowly circulated around Master Lung's body and eventually intertwined with his soul force. Pinnacle Grade 5. Early Grade 6. In just a few minutes, Master Lung had restored his soul force to the early Grade 6. After that, Master Lung did not continue to restore his soul force. Instead, he circulated his spell and began to absorb the pure vital energy in the altar. Now that my soul force has recovered to the Advanced Grade 6, I can finally absorb the vital energy in the altar without any scruples. Master Lung smirked as his eyes were filled with passion. Due to the severe damage to his soul force, Master Lung's strength had dropped to the early grade true martial realm. The vital energy in his sea of consciousness was lacking. Now that his soul force had recovered a little, he could not wait to restore his strength. Whoosh! The vital energy in the altar was accumulated by the vitality gathering array over a long period of time, so there was a lot of it. Although Master Lung was absorbing the vital energy with all his might, the rate of the vital energy reduction was still not obvious. Pinnacle grade, early grade, true martial realm. Intermediate grade, true martial realm. Peak grade, middle grade, true martial realm. An hour later, Master Lung's cultivation base had recovered to the peak grade, middle grade, true martial realm. He was only a step away from the advanced grade true martial realm. Absorb it. Master Lung let out a low grunt and released all his soul force to absorb the vital energy in the altar crazily. Crack! After another 15 minutes, when Master Lung's cultivation base was about to recover to the advanced grade true martial realm, the altar suddenly let out a cracking sound. What's going on? Master Lung retracted his soul force and looked at the altar below him. Master Lung's mouth was slightly agape and his eyes were wide open. Disbelief was written all over his face. This was because he discovered two things that he could not accept. Firstly, there were fine cracks around the altar, and the cracks were constantly expanding. Secondly, the vital energy in the altar had disappeared as if it had seen a ghost. Oh no, there must be something wrong with the vitality gathering array. Master Lung was not stupid. He immediately thought of the vitality gathering array. The vital energy gathered by the vitality gathering array was all stored in the altar. Now that the vital energy in the altar had disappeared, it was highly likely that there was something wrong with the vitality gathering array. With that thought in mind, Master Lung extended his soul force and went underground along the altar. Oh no! As soon as Master Lung's soul force entered the altar, Ningyu realized that something was wrong. In a flash, he grabbed the pendant in his hand and threw it into his storage ring. Full speed ahead. With his soul force attached to the phantom armor, Ningyu unleashed his speed to the maximum. Before Master Lung could react, he had already entered the stone room that he was in. Who's there? The sudden change made Master Lung's pupils shrink, and he quickly retracted his soul force back into his body. Looking at the skinny figure standing in front of him, Master Lung scolded, "How dare you barge into my room?" Early grade, 6 soul force? Ningyu did not answer Master Lung's question. Instead, he stared at him and said with a frown, "I didn't expect your soul force to have recovered to the early grade 6. You're courting death." Master Lung did not expect Ningyu to be so arrogant and not take him seriously at all. With a low grunt, Master Lung rose from the ground, and the true martial realm's vital energy in his sea of consciousness surged out and wrapped around his fist. He then threw a punch at Ningyu. TSK, TSK. Master Lung's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Ningyu and used his fist that contained violent vital energy to smash at Ningyu's head. Facing such a fierce attack from Master Lung, Ningyu stood at the same spot. There was no panic in his eyes at all. Instead, the corner of his lips curled up into an evil smile. You can still smile when you're about to die? I'm really impressed. Master Lung was even more furious when he saw Ningyu's reaction. However, before he could finish his sentence, his pupils shrank and his body retreated backward. Master Lung only managed to stabilize himself after he retreated to the edge of the stone room. Chapter 149. When Master Lung finished speaking, the Dark Emperor raised his brows and asked coldly, "How did you know my identity?" Of course I know your identity." Master Lung harumphed and said, "Because the aura coming from your body is exactly the same as the giant skeleton in the treasure pavilion. You're courting death." The Dark Emperor roared and flapped the purplish golden wings on his back. He charged toward Master Lung like a sharp sword. Shit! Master Lung's expression changed slightly as he retreated again. Swoosh! Right at this moment, the Dark Emperor had already arrived in front of him, and a pair of sharp claws fiercely swept towards his face. A crisp sound was heard as Master Lung fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. A bloody scar appeared on his face, making him look extremely hideous. Dark golden spirit corpse. Master Lung could not be bothered to wipe the blood off his face. He waved his sleeve, and a cold gleam shot out. Bang! As soon as the cold gleam shot out, it clashed with the Dark Emperor. After the collision, the Dark Emperor felt a pain in his chest. He flapped the wings on his back and retreated to Ning Yu's side. As for Master Lung, he landed beside the dark golden corpse and yelled, "Trespasser shall die. Half-step primal core realm corpse." The powerful aura coming from the dark golden corpse caused Ning Yu's expression to turn extremely solemn. He held the soul-severing sword in his hand and said, "I should have thought of this. It's impossible for there to be no powerhouses guarding the Yuan gathering formation that was set up with 10 Yuan gathering stones." Ning Yu stepped back. "I'll deal with this corpse." At that moment, the Dark Emperor restrained himself a little and said solemnly, "As for you, just hold that old fart back. Be careful." Ning Yu is not an indecisive person. He leaped up and shot out several sword rays at Master Lung. Moving its cumbersome body, the dark gold corpse took a step forward. Immediately, an extremely violent fluctuation of Yuan Qi blocked Ning Yu's path. Facing the dark golden corpse's powerful attack, Ning Yu hurriedly circulated the transformation spirit art. At the same time, the essence Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out, trying to resist. However, just as the essence Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out, the Dark Emperor transformed into an afterimage and arrived in front of the dark golden corpse. "Your opponent is me." Roar. With a furious roar, the Dark Emperor's body suddenly grew several times larger. He opened his mouth and let out a heart-shaking roar, instantly shattering the dark golden corpse's Yuan Qi. Phantom armor. Seeing that the Dark Emperor had blocked the fatal attack for him, a cold light flashed in Ning Yu's eyes, and the phantom armor appeared on the surface of his body. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In the next second, Ning Yu turned into an illusory afterimage and appeared next to Master Lung in an instant. With a violent fluctuation of Yuan Qi and soul pressure, his palm was aimed at Master Lung's head. It's a soul attack palm print. The moment the Netherworld Fiend attacked, Master Lung realized it was a soul attack palm print. However, Master Lung did not take it to heart. After all, Ning Yu's soul power was only at the middle stage of grade 4, while his was at the early stage of grade 6. The difference between them was immeasurable. Therefore, the corner of Master Lung's lips curled up as he unleashed his soul force to suppress Ning Yu's palm print. TSK. When Master Lung's grade 6 soul power collided with the Netherworld Fiend, he instantly expelled Ning Yu's soul power from the palm print and took over the control of the palm print. TSK, TSK. Brat, I'll return your palm print to you. With a weird laugh, Master Lung pushed with his backhand. Suddenly, the Netherworld Fiend changed its direction and attacked Ning Yu's head. Damn it! Master Lung's soul power is much stronger than mine. Cursing, Ning Yu quickly swung the soul-breaking sword. In an instant, a shocking sword ray was unleashed and collided with the Netherworld Fiend's palm print. TSK. When the shocking sword ray and the palm print collided, a sizzling sound was heard and the shockwaves spread in all directions. Brat, it's not a loss for you to die in my hands. With a smile, Master Lung stomped on the ground and dashed out in the blink of an eye. A fist brought with it an extremely violent Yuan Qi gale. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of Ning Yu and smashed down. Wind, thunder, and fire. At the crucial moment, the wind, thunder, and fire in Ning Yu's divine sense surged out and gathered on his right hand. Go! As the low roar sounded out, a palm print that was almost solid instantly blasted out. Purple flames danced on the palm print. Boom! The palm print dissipated almost as soon as it collided with Master Lung's fist. However, the instant the palm print was destroyed, the purple flames turned into purple light spots and attacked Master Lung from all directions. Wind, thunder, and fire. Not bad. Not bad at all. It just so happens that I'm lacking a suitable flame for refining pills. I'll make do with this. Looking at the purple light spots in the air, Master Lung smirked. Then his 6th grade soul power surged out of his body and surrounded the purple light spots, preventing them from moving. If this old fart soul power wasn't so much stronger than mine, it wouldn't be difficult for me to defeat him. Sensing that he was about to lose contact with the wind, thunder, and fire, Ning Yu's eyes turned solemn. As he turned around to look at the Dark Emperor's battle, Ning Yu's eyes were filled with worry. This was because the Dark Emperor was only on par with the Dark Golden Corpse. He did not have the upper hand. Capture the Dark Golden Corpse alive. While controlling the wind, thunder, and fire, Master Lung shouted at the Dark Golden Corpse, "That puppy is a sky-devouring hound. If you can send it to the sect's higher-ups, you might be able to advance." Ming, bye. As soon as Master Lung finished his sentence, a clumsy voice came out of the Dark Golden Corpse's mouth. What? Ning Yu's eyes narrowed as he looked at the Dark Golden Corpse that was fighting with the Dark Emperor in disbelief. The Dark Golden Corpse was just a corpse. How could it speak? Could it be that it had developed its own consciousness? At the thought of this, Ning Yu's eyes turned gloomy, and a sense of helplessness rose in his heart. The Dark Golden Corpse's body was already very tough, and it was powerful enough to be on par with the Dark Emperor. Once it developed its own consciousness, the Dark Emperor would definitely lose if the battle dragged on. After all, the Dark Golden Corpse was a tireless warrior. No, it didn't develop its own consciousness. It's only in a semi-conscious state. Ning Yu's eyes narrowed as he looked at the Dark Golden Corpse's clumsy footsteps. The worry in his heart lessened a little. The Dark Golden Corpse's current state did not look like it had developed its own consciousness. It was only in a semi-conscious state. However, a semi-conscious Dark Golden Corpse was enough to give Ning Yu and the Dark Emperor a hard time. No, I have to leave this stone chamber. Since the Dark Golden Corpse was powerful, Ning Yu made up his mind to leave the stone chamber with the Dark Emperor immediately. Chapter 150. Let's go. The Dark Emperor was not an indecisive dog. As soon as Ning Yu spoke, his figure flashed and turned into an afterimage as he entered the storage ring. Swoosh! Seeing that the Dark Emperor had entered the storage ring, Ning Yu immediately wrapped his soul energy around the illusory armor and leaped into the ground. As he had come to the stone chamber from underground, Ning Yu was very familiar with the situation underground. He was confident that as long as he could enter the ground, he could escape with the agility of the illusory armor. He trying to escape? Not so easy. However, before Ning Yu could go underground, Master Lung, who was standing next to him, smirked and quickly formed a seal with his hands. Ground killing formation rise. As Master Lung performed the last hand seal, the entire stone chamber began to shake. Following that, the surrounding walls began to cave in and countless high-grade origin crystals appeared. After these high-grade origin crystals appeared, they did not stay on the spot. Instead, they turned into rays of cold light and landed at every corner of the stone chamber. Crack! Crack! In the next moment, all the high-grade origin crystals in the stone chamber shattered. Strands of origin chi gathered and formed a dense origin chi net. Dark Golden Spiritual Corpse, guard the formation eye. Master Lung shouted as he retreated to the other side of the stone chamber. Roar! The Dark Golden Spiritual Corpse roared and leaped into the sky. It landed in the middle of the ground-killing formation, which was where the formation eye was. Brat, hand over that puppy, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Looking at Ning Yu, Master Lung said with a sinister smile, otherwise, I'll let you have a taste of being skinned alive. With the Dark Golden Spiritual Corpse guarding the formation eye, it's very difficult to break the ground-killing formation. At this moment, Ningyu's expression was solemn as he stared at the dark golden spiritual corpse in the ground-killing formation. His heart sank to the bottom. He had some understanding of the ground-killing formation. It was many times stronger than the 10-killing formation. There was only one way to break the killing earth formation, and that was to blast open the formation eye with lightning speed. But now, the dark gold spirit corpse was guarding the formation core. Unless one had the strength of a Yuan Dan stage, otherwise, it would be very difficult to blast open the formation core. Whoosh! The Dark Emperor, who was trapped in the baleful earth formation, also flew out from his storage ring. Ningyu, transfer all of your essence to me later. I'll see if I can destroy the formation core, the Dark Emperor said softly after taking a deep breath. Dark Emperor, how confident are you? Ningyu asked. Less than 10%, the Dark Emperor replied with a shake of his head. But I'll have to give it a try to find out. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, it's time to see your performance. Seeing that Ningyu was stubborn, Master Lung's face turned cold as he spoke in a deep voice. Voila! As soon as Master Lung's voice fell, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse waved its arms. Two streams of primordial chi in the earth-killing array were fanned and attacked Ningyu. Devour. In a flash, the Dark Emperor arrived before Ningyu. He opened his mouth, and a powerful suction force was emitted, swallowing the two primordial chi waves. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. However, as soon as the Dark Emperor swallowed the two primordial chi waves, another 4 primordial chi waves appeared and shot toward him at a shocking speed. Devour, 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 devour. The Dark Emperor stomped on the ground and stood up. His body trembled and grew several times bigger. It opened its mouth again, and 4 suction forces sucked the 4 yuan chi waves into its stomach. Ningyu, transfer the primordial chi to me now. After swallowing the 4 primordial chi waves, the Dark Emperor quickly turned around and shouted at Ningyu, also, give me all the high-grade primordial crystals you have. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu did not dare to delay. The primordial chi in his sea of consciousness surged out and entered the Dark Emperor's body. Furthermore, there were more than 600,000 high-grade primordial crystals left in his storage bag, and he tossed them to the Dark Emperor. Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, stop him. Master Lung's expression changed slightly when he saw Ningyu and the Dark Emperor's actions and shouted. Perhaps sensing the Dark Emperor's gradually increasing aura, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse left the formation core and leaped onto the Dark Emperor's back. Damn it! Damn it! How dare you ride the great Dark Emperor? Ever since he was born, when had the Dark Emperor suffered like this? Not only was he trapped in the earth-killing formation, but he was also ridden by a corpse. One uncle could tolerate, but an aunt could not. Get down! The purplish golden wings on his back flapped rapidly. The Dark Emperor could not be bothered to destroy the formation core. Instead, he injected all the primordial chi that Ningyu transferred to him into the purplish golden wings. Instantly, his speed increased by a few times as he tried to shake the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse off. However, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's arms were like pincers that clung onto the Dark Emperor's neck. No matter how the Dark Emperor moved, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse did not budge at all. That's right. I have to break the earth-killing formation. Although the Dark Emperor was currently angry, no matter what, he had restrained the strongest Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Ningyu knew that he could only rely on himself to break the earth-killing formation now. Teisho Kenpo, the remaining primordial chi in his consciousness, surged out and gathered on the soul-breaking sword. At that moment, Ningyu used his trump card, Teisho Kenpo, Heaven-grade flying sword. Master Lung's eyes were wide open when he saw the soul-breaking sword in Ningyu's hand. Not bad. This heaven-grade flying sword is not bad. It's mine now. Master Lung leaped and ignored the Teisho Kenpo completely. He grabbed the soul-breaking sword with both hands. Suppress my soul power. To prevent any unforeseen circumstances, Master Lung released his grade 6 soul power. Half of it was aimed at Ningyu's head, while the other half entered the soul-breaking sword in an attempt to control it. This is my chance. Not only did the sudden change not cause Ningyu to panic, but it also caused him to be overjoyed. That was because the soul-breaking sword was not only a heaven-grade flying sword, but it was also a heaven-grade devouring flying sword. Devour it! He controlled the soul-breaking sword with his soul power. Instead of retreating, it advanced and slashed at Master Lung's soul power. Brad, are you dumb? Why did you send yourself to me? Master Lung was confused by Ningyu's action. However, that was all. It would be a waste to reject a heaven-grade flying sword that was sent to him. Pissed. However, when his soul power came into contact with his soul-breaking sword, Master Lung's face turned ghastly as if he had eaten tea. This was because he realized that his soul power seemed to have entered a bottomless pit after entering the soul-breaking sword. Most importantly, he was about to lose contact with half of his soul power that entered the soul-breaking sword. Oh no, it's a devouring flying sword. Soul power, come back. Master Lung was a grade 6 elixir master after all. Soon, he thought of a terrifying possibility. The soul-breaking sword was not an ordinary heaven-grade flying sword. It was a genuine heaven-grade, devouring flying sword. Don't you think it's a little too late to realize it now? At that moment, Ningyu controlled the soul-breaking sword to release a strong suction force. Before Master Lung could retract his soul power, it was swallowed into the soul-breaking sword. Soul-breaking sword, come back. Chapter 151. Kid, do you think you can control my soul power just because you have the devouring flying sword? You're too naive. Master Lung only panicked for a short while when half of his soul power was devoured by the soul-breaking sword. He scoffed and controlled the other half of his soul power to suppress Ningyu. Even though I've lost half of my soul power is still a few times stronger than yours. After all, Master Lung's soul power had reached the early stage of grade 6. Even though he had lost half of his soul power was still stronger than Ningyu's. Master Lung knew that very well, so he did not panic for long. He controlled the remaining soul power to attack Ningyu's head. To him, as long as he could control Ningyu, he could retrieve half of the soul power in the soul-breaking sword. Trying to control me? It's not that easy. At that moment, Ningyu was very calm. He was terrifyingly calm. He reached into his pocket and took out a semicircular pendant. Blue pendant. Master Lung was slightly stunned when he saw the pendant in Ningyu's hand. His heart skipped a beat. Is this a devouring Dharma treasure too? As he was frightened by Ningyu, Master Lung thought everything he saw was a devouring Dharma treasure. Soul power, come back. Before he could confirm if the pendant was a devouring Dharma treasure, Master Lung quickly retrieved the remaining half of his soul power. Swoosh! However, he was obviously half a beat slower. Ningyu threw the pendant out with all his strength. The pendant turned into an afterimage and collided with Master Lung's soul power. Master Lung did not expect Ningyu to do that. His brain short-circuited for 0.1 seconds. However, it was this 0.1 second that caused Master Lung to completely lose contact with the remaining half of his soul power. Chi! A crisp sound was heard in the stone chamber. Master Lung stood rooted to the ground with disbelief written all over his face. At that moment, the remaining half of his soul power was devoured by the semicircular pendant. Swoosh! Then, Ningyu leaped into the air and grabbed the pendant before tossing it into his storage ring. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In the next instant, Ningyu performed a hand seal with his wrist, forming a solid palm print that slammed toward Master Lung's head at a shocking speed. Not good. After all, Master Lung was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Even if he had lost his soul force, his reaction was not slow. Just when the palm print was about to hit his head, his body slightly dodged to the side. Ha! However, his head wasn't hit by the Nether Fiend palm print, but his chest was hit. A muffled sound was heard as Master Lung's body fell backward and slammed into the stone wall. Poochie! The force that came from his chest caused Master Lung to vomit a mouthful of blood as his face turned pale. Die! Ningyu did not stop there. He went up to Master Lung and punched him in the chest with his iron-like fists. Bang! 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 Ning Yu's heavy fists landed on Master Lung's chest until he was no longer breathing. Huff! After killing Master Lung, Ning Yu felt extremely weak. He sat on the ground and panted heavily. There was not a single bit of primordial chi in his divine sense. Otherwise, he would not have killed Master Lung with brute force. Not long after Master Lung was killed, the entire stone chamber began to shake faster and faster. In the end, he could not even stand properly. Buzz! Buzz! Just when Ning Yu was trying his best to stand up, a buzzing sound was heard. Then, the earth-killing formation was broken without any warning. After the earth-killing formation was broken, the stone chamber stopped shaking and everything returned to normal. The sudden change stunned Ning Yu. He did not expect the earth-killing formation to be broken after killing Master Lung. If he knew this would happen, the Dark Emperor would not have bothered with the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. He could have just thought of a way to kill Master Lung. Dark Emperor, don't get entangled with the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. The ground terminating array has already been broken. Think of a way to leave this place. Ning Yu did not waste any time and said to the Dark Emperor, who was fighting the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, Ning Yu, I can feel the energy in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse slowly diminishing. Now is the best time to subdue it. We can't miss this opportunity. The Dark Emperor shouted. Hearing that, Ning Yu was stunned at first. Then he released his soul power and carefully approached the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. However, Ning Yu was overjoyed when he saw Duan Ling Tian. This was because he could see that the energy in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse was diminishing every second. Moreover, the rate of diminishing was gradually increasing, subduing a half-step origin core realm Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. Just thinking about it made Ning Yu's blood boil. The Dark Emperor's strength was at the true martial realm great perfection. He was still a step away from the half-step origin core realm. If they could control the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, it would mean that their strength had increased by several folds. Dark Emperor, be careful. Although the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's strength was gradually weakening, they could not be careless. Ning Yu reminded. Waving his hand, the Dark Emperor said, Ning Yu, step back a little. The Dark Golden Spirit Corpse is like a grasshopper after autumn. It won't last long. Report. While the Dark Emperor and the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse were fighting, in a dark hall in the Great Xia Kingdom, a man knelt on one knee and said loudly, Hall Master, Master Lung's soul tablet has shattered. What? A middle-aged man sat at the end of the hall. Hearing that, he suddenly stood up and instantly exploded with a shocking aura. The man who reported the news couldn't take it anymore. He knelt on the ground and couldn't raise his head. With a crack, the middle-aged man shattered the chair he was sitting on. In the next moment, the aura disappeared, and the middle-aged man returned to his previous state. You may leave. Don't let anyone else know about this. The middle-aged man said softly. The man who reported the news left the hall in a hurry and escaped. He didn't want to stay in the hall for a second longer. Double-faced man, help me with something, the middle-aged man said to the void. As soon as he finished speaking, a figure appeared in the hall. Half of the figure was wrapped in black chi and the other half in white light. It was impossible to see the figure's face. Make a trip to the Essence Gathering Cave and retrieve the Essence Gathering Stone, the middle-aged man said indifferently. Also, investigate the cause of Master Lung's death. If he was killed by someone, bring that person here. Understood. The double-faced man nodded. After his hoarse voice sounded, his figure gradually merged with the space and disappeared. The Essence Gathering Cave is filled with traps and arrays. Who could reach Master Lung's room without triggering the array? After the double-faced man left, the middle-aged man frowned and mumbled, The room that Master Lung was in has the Earth-killing array and the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. It seems like the person who killed Master Lung is at least at the Primordial Core realm and has a special method to avoid the array. Chapter 152. The bottom of the stone chamber was where the energy gathering formation's core was. Countless amounts of energy were gathering towards the stone chamber. Now that the earth-killing formation was broken, Ningyu summoned the phantom armor and burrowed into the ground after recovering some of his energy. Ningyu circulated the spirit transformation technique and absorbed the pure energy to replenish the energy in his sea of consciousness. As for the Dark Emperor, he was having a great time fighting with the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. Both sides were exchanging blows. However, as time passed, the Dark Emperor gradually gained the upper hand and suppressed the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. Roughly 15 minutes later, the Dark Emperor found an opportunity and whipped the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse with his tail. The enormous force caused the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's body to sway in the air before falling to the ground, unable to get up. Phew! After defeating the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, the Dark Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. The stone in his heart was finally lifted. Ningyu, hurry up and come out. Put the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse into the storage ring. The Dark Emperor shouted. Swoosh! Ningyu was paying attention to the situation in the stone chamber. The instant the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse was defeated, he appeared in the stone chamber with a flash. After wrapping a wisp of his soul force around the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, Ningyu put it into the storage ring. Ningyu, we shouldn't stay here for long. Let's leave as soon as possible. Seeing Ningyu put the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse into the storage ring, the Dark Emperor said solemnly, Understood. But before we leave, we still have one thing to do. Waving his hand, Ningyu came to the altar and put a storage pouch into the storage ring. Then, Ningyu said, Dark Emperor, you enter the storage ring as well. We'll leave underground. Swoosh! The Dark Emperor didn't hesitate and leaped into the storage ring. Then, the phantom armor appeared around Ningyu's body. He stepped on the ground and drilled into the ground again. Whoosh! Underground, Ningyu did not leave immediately. Instead, he carefully put away the 10 primordial gathering stones. Yuan gathering stones were incomparably precious, even rarer than ordinary 6th-grade medicinal herbs. Ningyu naturally could not miss out on such a treasure. Luckily, I knew how to set up an energy gathering formation in my previous life. Otherwise, the moment I removed the energy gathering stone, the energy gathering formation would immediately collapse. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and flew into the distance. Although the essence gathering formation wouldn't collapse immediately, it wouldn't last long. Rumble. Not long after Ningyu left, the ground where the Yuan gathering formation was located collapsed with a loud rumble. What happened? Why did the cave collapse? Quickly inform Master Lung. Yes. Quickly inform Master Lung and Master Mutaw. As the Yuan gathering formation lost the support of the Yuan gathering stones, it quickly collapsed. Affected by the collapse of the Yuan gathering formation, the ground under the cave caved in. The faces of the corpse guards in the cave changed drastically when they saw the cave caved in. They panicked and immediately ran toward the stone chamber where Master Lung was at. Their duty was to protect Master Lung. If anything were to happen to Master Lung, they would not be able to bear the consequences. Bang! A dull thud was heard as the stone chamber's door was blasted open. Oh no! Master Lung has been killed. What? Quickly seal the cave. We must find the person who killed Master Lung. Whoosh! Not long after the cave caved in, Mutuo led a large group of people and appeared in front of the cave. Mutuo's expression turned extremely unpleasant as he looked at the collapsed cave and the dozens of corpse guards standing in front of it. However, when he saw the familiar figure in the middle of the corpse guards, his face instantly turned as pale as a pig's liver. Who killed Master Lung? Mutuo quickly came to Master Lung's side and clenched his fists. He scolded in a deep voice. What the hell are you guys doing? Master Lung was killed not long after I left. Mutuo, Master Lung's death is a serious matter. We must inform the Hall Master. A man in a black robe next to Mutuo said in a deep voice. Also, I suggest that I lead a team to search this forest. As long as we find any suspicious people, we'll kill them immediately. The man in the black robe who spoke was in his 40s or 50s. He was a powerful late-stage, true martial realm cultivator. Obviously, the man in the black robe did not know about the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse and the Earth-killing formation. Otherwise, he would not have said such arrogant words. Black Sand King, please. Now that things had come to this, it had completely exceeded Mu Tuo's expectations. He could only pray that the Black Sand King could find the person who killed Master Lung. Buzz. However, before the Black Sand King could move, the surrounding space wriggled. Then, a man in white appeared. Looking at the man in white who had suddenly appeared, the surrounding martial artists, including Mu Tuo, stood on the spot respectfully. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. Looking at Master Lung, who had been beaten beyond recognition, the man in white frowned and mumbled. He was killed by brute force. Judging from the strength of the fist, the person who attacked should be at the late-stage Khanate realm. The earth-killing formation has been broken, and the dark golden spirit corpse is nowhere to be found. Looks like this was a premeditated murder. After thinking about it, the man in white moved and burrowed into the ground in the blink of an eye. Whoosh! In just a short while, the man in white leaped out from the ground. As I expected, the Yuan gathering stone has been taken away. With a slightly gloomy expression, the man in white took out a crystal ball and placed it on Master Lung's body. 3 seconds later, the man in white put the crystal ball away. He closed his eyes and stood on the spot for a while. Then, the man in white turned into an afterimage and chased after Master Lung in the east. 10 minutes after the man in white disappeared, Mu Tuo and the rest finally heaved a sigh of relief. Mu Tuo, what did he mean? Pointing to the east, the Black Sand King asked in a low voice, "What should we do now?" After thinking about it, Mu Tuo said, "Mobilize all the forces that can be mobilized and secretly investigate any suspicious characters that have appeared within a 100-mile radius recently. I want to know all the movements of martial artists who have reached the true martial realm in the past month. Also, in the end, Mu Tuo added, find a person called Ningyu and bring him back to see me." Ningyu? The Black Sand King was stunned and asked doubtfully, "Is he a true martial realm martial artist?" "He's not a true martial realm martial artist. He's an alchemist," Mu Tuo said in a low voice. "Got it. Let's go." The Black Sand King nodded and waved his hand. The surrounding martial artists immediately dispersed and flew in all directions. Russell, Ningyu and the Dark Emperor had no idea what was happening in the cave. After collecting the 10 Yuan gathering stones, Ningyu kept flying underground until the primordial qi in his sea of consciousness was depleted. Only then did he emerge from the ground and come to the surface. As the primordial qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness was depleted, the Dark Emperor grew slightly larger and carried Ningyu through the forest. They did not choose to rest in the city immediately. After all, they were afraid of encountering danger before they left the cave. Chapter 153. Ivory City was a huge city under the Great Xia Kingdom. The strength of Ivory City was several times that of Wisdom Monarch City, and they had an overwhelming advantage in terms of the number of experts. It could be said that compared to Ivory City, places like Wisdom Monarch City and Tianxian City could only be considered as small cities. After concealing his aura and suppressing it to Xiantian primary stage, Ningyu brought the Dark Emperor into Ivory City. Third Order Demonic Beasts Inner Core. Cheap. Don't miss out on this opportunity. I just caught a Third Order bird's young, and I'm selling it at a discounted price. I'll buy this withered leaf flower for 50 high-grade origin crystals. As soon as Ningyu entered Ivory City, he heard the sounds of hawking. I didn't expect Ivory City to be so prosperous that even third-order demonic beasts' inner cores are being sold on the streets. Ningyu was shocked. After all, third-order demonic beasts' inner cores were precious treasures in Tianxian City. Who would have thought that they were as common as cabbages in Ivory City? That's nothing. It's just a third-order demonic beast's inner core. I'll get you as many as you want, the Dark Emperor said disdainfully. Don't talk so much. It won't be good if someone recognizes you, Ningyu said helplessly. Before entering Ivory City, Ningyu had tried to persuade the Dark Emperor to enter his storage ring so that no one would recognize him. However, the Dark Emperor refused to listen and insisted on walking on the streets. Fortunately, Ivory City was quite prosperous, and a talking dog didn't attract too much attention. Everyone just thought that the Dark Emperor was Ning Yu's pet. "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing," the Dark Emperor said with a shrug. The Dark Emperor wasn't stupid. Even though he was walking on the streets, he kept his senses sharp. As long as an expert appeared, he would enter his storage ring immediately. "I really don't know what to do with you." Ignoring the Dark Emperor, Ning Yu walked on quickly. Not long after, he stopped in front of an inn called Pleasant Arrival Inn. The Pleasant Arrival Inn was the best inn in Ivory City. The price of the rooms was extremely expensive. Even 50 upper-grade essence crystals were not enough to enter a first-class room. One could only enter a second-class room. Hiss! At first, Ning Yu was complaining that the room was too expensive, but when he entered the room, he immediately changed his mind. There was a small array formation in the room. A steady stream of essence gathered on the bed. Compared to the outside, the density of the essence in the room was much higher. Setting up this Yuan Qi gathering formation will probably consume 30 high-grade Yuan crystal a day. Ning Yu felt a little emotional. Sure enough, you get what you pay for. The poor live in a low-class room, while the rich live in a luxurious one. After kicking the Dark Emperor off the bed, Ning Yu leaped up and sat on the bed. How stingy! He rolled his eyes at Ning Yu before disappearing into his storage ring. "Don't call me if there's nothing important." Whoosh! After sitting down with his legs crossed, Ning Yu shook his wrist, and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. The soul-severing sword was a devouring flying sword. It had devoured half of Master Lung's soul power. Now, the majestic soul power in the sword even had the urge to leak out. Fortunately, Ning had already engraved a soul imprint in the soul-severing sword. Otherwise, the soul-severing sword would definitely leave his hand. With so much pure soul power, my soul strength can at least reach peak grade 4 after refining it. I can even try to break through to grade 5. Feeling the dense and pure soul power in the soul-severing sword, Ning Yu's eyes were burning with passion. He quickly controlled the soul-severing sword and forced the pure soul power out of the sword. Absorb it! As soon as the pure soul power was forced out, Ning Yu opened his mouth and swallowed a part of it into his stomach. Then he activated the spiritual transformation technique and began to refine it slowly. If the soul power still had its own consciousness, Ning Yu would definitely not dare to refine it so openly. However, the devouring flying sword had already erased Master Lung's consciousness from the soul power. Therefore, Ning Yu could refine it without any scruples. Buzz! 2 hours later, Ning Yu suddenly opened his eyes. A hint of joy emerged in his eyes. Peak grade 4. Ning Yu did not expect it to be so smooth. He had only refined a part of the pure soul power, and his soul power had already increased to the peak grade 4. At this rate, if he refined all of it, his soul power would definitely increase to peak grade 4. Swoosh! However, just when Ning Yu wanted to swallow the soul power again, a cold gleam rushed out of the storage ring. Looking at the cold gleam that suddenly rushed out, Ning Yu first opened his mouth slightly, then he cursed. F***CK, the semicircle pendant. Are you going to intercept me again? Whoosh! Ignoring Ning Yu's scolding, a strong suction force came from the pendant and instantly swallowed the remaining soul power into its body. Swoosh! Then, the semicircle pendant turned into a cold gleam again and entered the storage ring. The sudden change made Ning Yu a little dumbfounded. He wanted to scold someone, but he could only admit defeat. Forget it, I won't lower myself to your level. Who asked you to be entrusted to me by my father? Ning Yu sighed helplessly. The strength of a peak grade 4 soul power was already very good. At least he could cultivate the 4th palm of the netherworld samsara palm. After adjusting his mental state to the best, Ning Yu recalled the method of the 4th palm of the netherworld samsara palm in his mind. The 4th palm of the netherworld samsara palm, Dark Tyrant. The requirement for the strength of the soul power was extremely strict. Without reaching the peak grade 4 soul power, it was basically impossible to successfully cultivate it. This was also the reason why Ning Yu only started cultivating it now. Half of the peak grade 4 soul power in his body flowed out and gathered in his palm. Then, Ning Yu made a strange hand seal and suddenly pushed it out. Suddenly, a solid palm seal appeared and blasted toward the void. Ha! The moment the palm print came into contact with the void, it dissipated. Why is the power so low? After the palm seal dissipated, Ning Yu frowned in doubt. Logically speaking, the power of the fourth palm of the Netherworld Samsara palm shouldn't be so weak. Pa 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 pa. While Ning Yu was puzzled, another 8 muffled sounds came out, and immediately, 8 illusory palm seals appeared in the room. After these palm seals were formed, they suddenly exploded and the aftermath spread out in all directions. What's going on? Have the people from the corpse sect caught up? The explosion of the palm seals caused the Dark Emperor to rush out from the storage ring. The hair on his body stood on end as he screamed. Ning Yu quickly retreat. Seeing the Dark Emperor's expression as if he was facing a great enemy, Ning Yu smiled and blasted out another palm strike. It collided with the previous palm strike, and the aftermath instantly dissipated. Dark Emperor, you're not from the corpse sect. It's a spell that I cultivate. Ning Yu waved his hand and smiled. A type of spell that you're practicing? Hearing this, the Dark Emperor was clearly stunned, and he said in disbelief, "When did you become so powerful?" The Dark Emperor knew very well that the power of the palm just now could at least contend against a peak stage true martial realm cultivator, or even kill them. Crack! However, just when Ning Yu was about to speak, a crisp crack was heard. Then a loud shout entered his ears. Chapter 154. The Innate Battle Ranking. The Innate Battle Ranking is out again? In the room, Ning Yu frowned and murmured, I wonder what rank I will be on the Innate Battle Ranking this time. In the previous Innate Battle Ranking, Ning Yu was only ranked 1,000th. Of course, Ning Yu did not kill Lin Jingtian last time, so it was already good enough that he was ranked 1,000th. And this issue of the Xiantian Battle Rankings would be released after he killed Lin Jingtian. In other words, he would most likely enter the top 100 on the Xiantian Battle Rankings. Innate Battle Ranking? What nonsense are you talking about? Ning Yu, I'm asking you a question. How did you become so powerful? The Dark Emperor did not care about the Innate Battle Ranking and asked impatiently, Dark Emperor, I have always been powerful. You just didn't realize it. Shrugging, Ning Yu walked out of the room. Ning Yu, wait for me. Seeing Ning Yu leaving, the Dark Emperor stomped his feet and followed closely behind Ning Yu. Ha! In the main hall that you lie in, a muffled sound could be heard. Then, 2 figures separated and stood on opposite sides of the hall. Zhang Hu ranked 100th on the Innate Battle Ranking. Yang Yu ranked 101st on the Innate Battle Ranking. Their strength should be about the same. Why is Zhang Hu ranked higher than Yang Yu? Who knows? The Innate Battle Ranking has its own reasons. I am afraid Zhang Hu is slightly stronger. This is going to be a good show. Zhang Hu is the young master of the Zhang clan, and Yang Yu is the son of the city lord. If they fight, it will be very interesting. On the side of the hall near the door, a man in his 20s stood expressionlessly with his fists clasped. Opposite him stood a young man of similar age. However, the young man's expression was very ugly, especially when he heard the discussions around him. His expression became even uglier. Zhang Hu, no wonder you could enter the top 100 of the Innate Realm Battle list. You hid your strength. Yang Yu's face turned pale because he was at a slight disadvantage in the previous exchange. In the past, he had fought with Zhang Hu many times. Without using his trump cards, both of them had victories and defeats. And in this exchange, he could clearly feel that Zhang Hu's strength had increased a lot. He faintly felt that he was no match for Zhang Hu. If the two of them really fought to the death, the one who would lose in the end would most likely be him. However, asking him to stop in front of so many people was something he couldn't do. Yang Yu, I don't have time to waste with you here. You are no match for me, Zhang Hu said calmly. Humph, don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you are 1 rank higher than me on the Innate Realm Battle Board. With a cold snort, Yang Yu rose from the ground. His body turned into a blur as he charged straight at Zhang Hu, courting death. With a cold expression, Zhang Hu slightly bent his legs. Soon after, he abruptly exerted his strength and charged towards Yang Yu like a ferocious tiger. Ningyu, can't you wait for me? While Yang Yu and Zhang Hu were fighting, the Dark Emperor on the second floor of the Yu Line grumbled, "What's there to watch when two innate realm kids fight? Take a closer look." Ever since they came out, Ningyu's eyes were locked on Zhang Hu with a shocked expression. "What am I looking at? A fight between brats, The Dark Emperor curled his lips and turned to look at the two people fighting in the hall. This caused his eyes to narrow, and he said in a deep voice, "This Zhang Hu is strange. I feel a familiar aura from him." Ningyu took a deep breath and said, "If I'm not wrong, he should be someone from the corpse sect." The Dark Emperor gritted his teeth and said, "We can wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance. Since we've met here, let's collect some interest first." Ever since he fought with the corpse sect's left protector in the Pill Dragon Valley, the Dark Emperor had a deep hatred for the corpse sect. As long as he saw someone from the corpse sect, he would be the first to kill them. Of course, the prerequisite was that he was stronger than the other party. Don't worry, this Zhang Hu is not simple. He's ranked 100th on the innate realm battle list, which means he has some strength. Ningyu held the Dark Emperor down and said, "A cultivator with this level of talent can be considered an absolute genius, even in the corpse sect. If we kill him rashly, we might attract the experts of the corpse sect. If they find out that we killed Master Long, the consequences will be unimaginable." "Ningyu, aren't you being too afraid?" The Dark Emperor was clearly unhappy. "He's just a peak, innate realm cultivator. With my strength, killing him is a piece of cake." Although that was what he said, the Dark Emperor still stood beside Ningyu and did not make a move. "Dark Emperor, release your perception and see if any experts have noticed this place," Ningyu said slowly. Rolling his eyes, the Dark Monarch released his powerful perception to scan the surroundings. As he released his perception, the Dark Emperor's expression gradually became serious. In the end, he even hid his aura and said in a deep voice, "You're right. I can feel at least two peak, true, martial realm cultivators in the surroundings. There's even a half-step Yuan Dan realm cultivator." Half-step Yuan Dan realm. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu took a deep breath. With his and the Dark Emperor's current strength, they could contend and even kill a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. However, if they encountered a martial artist at the half-step Origin Dan realm, unless they took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, only death awaited them. This was Ivory City, so it was obviously unreliable to use the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. After all, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse belonged to the corpse sect. Once it was discovered by someone, they would become the target of everyone. After calming down, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse continued, "You don't have to worry too much. I'm 100% sure that the two peak true martial realm and half-step Yuan Dan realm cultivators are not from the corpse sect." "Not from the corpse sect?" Ningyu was slightly startled, and his worry lessened a bit. As long as the surrounding experts weren't from the corpse sect, they would be absolutely safe. After relaxing, Ningyu turned to look at the two people fighting in the hall. "Not good. Zhang wants to kill Yang Yu." Seeing the two people fighting fiercely in the hall, Ningyu's expression slightly changed. He felt that it was a little unbelievable. Next to him, the Dark Emperor also relaxed a little and said, "What? You plan to help Yang Yu and make Zhang Hu reveal his true colors?" "Help Yang Yu?" Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu's first thought was to shake his head and refuse. What a joke. There were several experts in the surroundings. He had no reason to make a move. But after thinking about it, Ningyu felt that what the Dark Emperor said was not unreasonable. Others might not know that Zhang Hu was from the corpse sect, but once he forced Zhang Hu to reveal himself, there was no need for him to make a move. The hidden experts in the surroundings would kill Zhang Hu. Chapter 155. Boom. After a few moves, Yang Yu felt a sharp pain coming from his wrist. He clenched his teeth and forced Zhang Hu to retreat to the other side. Yang Yu's face was ashen. The power that Zhang Hu had displayed in an instant made his heart tremble. If he continued to fight, he would definitely be the one to lose. At this point, he already had the faint urge to give up. Swoosh! However, at this moment, Zhang Hu turned into a blur and arrived in front of him in an instant. The fist that contained violent yuan qi ruthlessly smashed towards Yang Yu's chest. Yang Yu, since you want to play, I'll play with you. The corners of Zhang Hu's mouth rose as he looked at Yang Yu, as if he was looking at a dead man. Not good. The sudden change caused Yang Yu's expression to change greatly. He quickly gathered the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness to his wrist and collided with Zhang Hu's fist. Yang Yu did not expect Zhang Hu to suddenly attack, so he hastily blocked the attack. Bang! The moment the two fists collided, Yang Yu's expression changed slightly. The force from the palm of his hand caused him to retreat to the edge of the hall and heavily crash into the wall. When he saw that Yang Yu had been forced back, a cold glint flashed across Zhang Hu's eyes as he immediately charged forward. Zhang Hu is going to kill. Dark Emperor, stay here and don't move. I'll go meet this genius from the corpse sect. Seeing Zhang Hu's action, the yuan qi in Ning Yu's sea of consciousness churned. However, just as he was about to rush out, his mind moved and his legs abruptly stopped in place. Swoosh! In the next instant, a cold light shot out from the third floor of the Pleasant Arrival Inn and shot toward Zhang Hu. Facing the sudden appearance of the cold light in Zhang Hu's eyes instantly disappeared. His body somersaulted in the air and turned his head to avoid the cold light. This is the Pleasant Arrival Inn. If you want to fight to the death, you could go to the ivory stage. There's no need to do it here. As the voice faded, an old man flew down from the third floor of the Pleasant Arrival Inn and landed between Zhang Hu and Yang Yu. Standing there, the old man's face was expressionless as he indifferently said, "For your father's sake, I'll let you go this time. If there's a next time, don't blame me for being impolite." Peak of the true martial realm. Feeling the powerful fluctuations of true qi emanating from the old man, Ning Yu felt a chill in his heart. He secretly thought that the Yu Lion was really not simple. They actually had a peak true martial realm powerhouse. Furthermore, the old man's essence was vigorous and his aura was stable, faintly showing signs of breaking through to the half-step origin core stage. This is one of the 3 experts I told you about, the Dark Emperor said in a low voice. From the looks of it, he is from the Pleasant Arrival Inn. If that's the case, then the other martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm and half a step into the Yuan Dan realm are most likely the people behind Zhang Hu and Yang Yu. Nodding his head, Ning Yu said, "That's right. It's just a pity that we won't be able to expose Zhang Hu's true colors today. That's not a big deal. There's always a chance." The Dark Emperor shrugged and said, "I don't believe that Zhang Hu won't leave Ivory City. As long as he leaves Ivory City, I have 100 ways to kill him. We'll talk about it when there's a chance," Ning Yu said in a deep voice. Although Ning Yu wanted to kill the people of the Yin Corpse sect, he wasn't reckless. He wouldn't rashly kill Zhang Hu unless he had absolute confidence. Seeing the old man appear, Zhang Hu slightly withdrew his aura and said indifferently, "I don't care. I'm just afraid that someone will not dare to go to the ivory stage." "Humph. Go ahead. Who's afraid of who?" Yang Yu coldly snorted. "Good. You're indeed courageous. We'll meet at the ivory stage in 3 days." The corners of Zhang Hu's mouth curled up as if his plan had succeeded. He turned around and left the Pleasant Arrival Inn. As for Yang Yu, he rubbed the area between his thumb and index finger. The pain from the previous blow had yet to completely disappear. Ivory stage, there's going to be a good show this time. Yeah, only one person can come out of the ivory stage. A life and death battle between the 2 peerless geniuses of Ivory City. TSK. Just thinking about it makes me excited. However, from today's fight, Yang Yu is at a slight disadvantage. They both have their trump cards, and they will definitely use them when the life and death battle begins. In front of the protective stage on the 2nd floor, Ning Yu couldn't help but frown when he heard these discussions. From today's fight, If Yang Yu had to participate in the life and death battle, he would definitely die. As the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Ningyu felt that it was necessary to remind Yang Yu. After thinking for a while, Ningyu walked down from the second floor and went straight to Yang Yu's side. You are? Originally, Yang Yu wanted to leave, but when he saw Ningyu standing in front of him, he was slightly startled and asked, Brother Yang, can I have a word with you? Ningyu opened his mouth and a voice entered Yang Yu's ears. Soul sound transmission. Yang Yu's heart trembled. He looked at Ningyu in disbelief and said, Let's go to the room and talk. Who is that young man? I don't know. I've never seen him in Ivory City. To be able to talk to Yang Yu, I'm afraid he can be considered a genius. Almost. I guess he is also on the innate realm battle list, but I don't know his ranking. Ningyu didn't hear the whispers of the surrounding martial artists. At this time, he and Yang Yu had arrived at a room on the third floor of Yulayan. After entering the room, Ningyu did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Brother Yang, let me introduce myself first. My name is Ningyu, and the reason why I'm looking for you is because of Zhang Hu. For Zhang Hu, do you have a grudge against him? And your name is Ningyu. What? You're Ningyu. Hearing Ningyu's words, Yang Yu frowned slightly. Then, his expression changed drastically. He stood up from the chair and said in disbelief, Are you sure your name is Ningyu? From Tianxian City's Ning family. Why? Is there a problem? Ningyu didn't expect Yang Yu to have such a huge reaction. Of course, there's a problem. Yang Yu was very excited. He took out a jade letter and passed it to Ningyu. Don't you know that you're in the top 100 of the innate realm battle list? Innate realm battle list, 90th place, Ningyu. From Tianxian City's Ning family, powerful. Yang Yu said excitedly. I didn't expect to meet you here. It's fate. Hey, why are you making such a fuss? Isn't it just the 90th place on the innate realm battle list? It's not like he's the first. Why are you so excited? Before Ningyu could speak, the Dark Emperor twitched his mouth and said in disdain, Damn, Brother Ningyu, your dog can talk? Yang Yu stared at the Dark Emperor with his eyes wide open. Your dog. Your whole family is dogs. All your ancestors are dogs. The Dark Emperor was obviously unhappy as he bared his teeth at Yang Yu. Air. Yang Yu didn't expect the Dark Emperor to have such a bad temper. Chapter 156. Yang Yu also felt that it was beneath his dignity to argue with a dog, so he ignored the Dark Emperor's words and said to Ningyu, Zhang Hu is the young master of the Zhang family, and he is ranked 100 on the innate warrior list. Brother Yang, you are ranked 101st on the innate warrior list. Frowning slightly, Ningyu said, Logically speaking, the gap between you and Zhang Hu should not be too big, but why do I feel that Zhang Hu has not used his full strength? I don't know the details. Yang Yu said angrily. I have fought with Zhang Hu many times before, and we were evenly matched. But this time, I can clearly feel that his strength has increased by more than a little. Is there anything strange about Zhang Hu recently? Ningyu asked. Strange? Slightly startled, Yang Yu said, Nothing strange, but there is one thing that makes me feel strange. Taking a deep breath, Yang Yu continued, Some time ago, Zhang Hu went to challenge the Ivory Tower, and he reached the 6th floor. In the past, when Zhang Hu was in the Ivory Tower, he could only reach the 5th floor. What kind of place is the Ivory Tower? Ningyu asked curiously. In Ivory City, there are two buildings that are very famous. The first is the Ivory Tower, and the second is the Ivory Platform. Smiling, Yang Yu explained. The Ivory Tower was the symbol of Ivory City. It had a total of 10 floors, and only innate realm martial artists were qualified to challenge it. The Ivory Tower was a place to test one's talent, potential, and martial strength. The higher the floor, the higher the talent, and the stronger the martial artist. Rumor had it that since the Ivory Tower was built, no martial artist had ever entered the 10th floor, and only one had entered the 9th floor. The martial artist who entered the 9th floor had occupied the first place on the innate warrior list for 3 months, and had pressured the second-place martial artist to the point where he could hardly breathe. Only when he advanced to the true martial realm did the second-place martial artist let out a sigh of relief. As for the ivory platform, it was a circular battle platform located beside the ivory tower. Of all the cultivators who entered the ivory platform to fight to the death, only one would come out alive. The ivory platform could allow 2 martial artists to enter at a time. Unless one of them died in battle, it would not open again. Brother Yang, I advise you not to have a death match with Zhang Hu, Ningyu said with a frown after hearing Yang Yu's words. I've already agreed to his challenge in front of so many people. If I give up now, it won't make sense. Yang Yu said coldly, moreover, it's not like I don't have any trump cards. It's still unknown who will win and who will lose. Right? Do you have a grudge against Zhang Hu? Yang Yu rolled his eyes and said, Zhang Hu is quite something. He even dared to offend you. Don't worry, I'll help you get rid of him in this death match. To tell you the truth, even if I encounter, inhaling a deep breath, Ningyu felt the need to warn Yang Yu. However, before he could finish his words, a voice was transmitted from outside the door. Young City Lord, you should go back quickly. The City Lord is very angry now. Oh no, how could I forget about my father? Hearing the voice, Yang Yu's face immediately became gloomy. He cupped his hands at Ningyu and said, I'll go back first. If there's time, we can. All right, Brother Ning, why don't you go back with me? Go back with you? Ningyu was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Yang Yu to invite him. After thinking for a while, he agreed. He wouldn't act rashly without knowing whether there were experts from the Corpsine sect behind Zhang Hu. Yang Yu's father was the city lord, so he must have a deep understanding of Zhang Hu. Maybe he knew something. The city lord's mansion was located in the most central area of Ivory City. It was connected by several luxurious palaces, making it look very magnificent. Ha! Don't you think you've caused enough trouble for me? You actually dare to have a death match with Zhang Hu. Do you still want to enter Danwu College? After returning home, Yang Yu's father first reprimanded Yang Yu. Then he said coldly, I'll talk to the head of the Zhang family about this. He'll help you cancel that death match. Father, you can't blame me for this. Yang Yu said, if you don't believe me, you can ask Ningyu. He was also there at that time. It was Zhang who wanted to kill me. That's why I agreed to the death match with him. Ningyu? Ningyu, ranked 90th on the innate realm battle list? Yang Kuan looked at Ningyu in surprise. Yang Yu didn't mention it, so he ignored Ningyu. After all, Ningyu's aura was only at the early innate realm. If he didn't observe carefully, he wouldn't notice anything. City Lord Yang, the ranking on the innate realm battle list is just a gimmick. Ningyu said calmly. Young City Lord was forced to agree to Zhang Hu's request. You don't have to scold him. Sai, of course I know that. It's just that the Zhang family has been expanding rapidly recently. It seems like they're going to become the overlord of Ivory City. Yang Kuan sighed and said, if it wasn't for the pressure, the Zhang family would have attacked the City Lord Mansion. Looking at Ningyu, Yang Kuan wanted to say something, but stopped on second thought. City Lord Yang, what's the matter? Ningyu asked when he saw Yang Kuan's expression. In that case, I'll tell you the truth. The Zhang family in Ivory City is a branch of the Zhang family in the capital, Yang Kuan said. What? Ningyu didn't expect them to have such a relationship. He was shocked. After all, he had killed the second son of the Zhang family, Zhang Wenyong, in the Elixir Dragon Valley. He had already offended the Zhang family. Now that he knew that the Zhang family in Ivory City was a branch of the Zhang family in the capital, the consequences would be dire if they found out. The Zhang family has given the order to kill you. Your head is worth 1 million upper-grade primordial crystals. Staring at Ningyu, Yang Kuan released his aura to suppress Ningyu. If I kill you and hand you over to the Zhang family, I'll get 1 million upper-grade primordial crystals. Father, what are you doing? Seeing Yang Kuan's reaction, Yang Yu was shocked. Ningyu is my good friend. You can't kill him and hand him over to the Zhang family. He said hurriedly. The Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness was released to resist Yang Kuan's aura. Ningyu said calmly, City Lord Yang, if I want to leave, you won't be able to stop me. Ha ha ha. No wonder you're ranked 90th on the innate realm battle list. Laughing, Yang Kuan retracted his aura and said, If I'm not wrong, you should be able to enter the top 50 on the innate realm battle list. Yang Kuan was shocked by Ning Yu's performance. He was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. If Ning Yu could resist his aura so easily, it meant that he was not weak. Chapter 157. Since Ning Yu had changed the topic, Yang Kuan didn't ask anymore. Among the younger generation of the Zhang clan, the strongest is neither Zhang Wenyong nor Zhang Wenyong's elder brother. It's Zhang Tianwen, who is ranked 7th. Zhang Tianwen. Ning Yu is unfamiliar with this name. It's understandable that you don't know Zhang Tianwen. Yang Kuan explained, when Zhang Tianwen was 10 years old, the Zhang family spread the news that he had died prematurely. At that time, this matter caused a stir in the capital. Actually, Zhang Tianwen didn't die. He secretly went to the Lanqing kingdom to cultivate for a few years. When he was 17, he returned to the Xia kingdom and entered the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. Sacred Institute. Ning Yu frowned slightly. He did not understand much about the Danwu Academy's sacred institution. It could be said that he knew nothing at all. Brother Ning, the Sacred Institute of Danwu College has a very strict recruitment process. You must be in the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking to be qualified. Yang Yu said, this is also the reason why I challenged Zhang Hu. There are only 20 days left until the next recruitment of the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. If I can't enter the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking within 20 days, I won't even be qualified to participate in the recruitment of the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. Nonsense. Hearing Yang Yu's words, Yang Kuan scolded. Even if you want to enter the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking, you can't challenge Zhang Hu. Anyway, I've already decided to have a life and death duel with him. In 3 days, either he or I will die, Yang Yu muttered. What are you muttering about? Go back to your room and don't step out of it without my permission. Yang Kuan was a little angry. At this moment, Ning Yu said, Governor Yang, I'm here to tell you something. What is it? Yang Kuan asked. I don't know if you've seen anyone from the corpse sect recently. Ning Yu stared into Yang Kuan's eyes, hoping to see some clues. Corpsine sect. Hearing Ning Yu's words, Yang Kuan's expression changed, and his eyes revealed a shocked expression. Did you see the people from the corpse sect? Nodding his head, Ning Yu voiced out his suspicions. I suspect that Zhang Hu is from the corpse sect. Zhang Hu? Slightly startled, Yang Kuan immediately shook his head and said, he is not a member of the corpse sect. I saw him a few days ago. Although his strength has increased rapidly, he is definitely not a member of the corpse sect. Ning Yu, it can't be that you have a grudge with the Zhang family. So you want to slander Zhang Hu? Yang Kuan frowned. Hee, City Lord Yang, you must be joking. My final destination is the capital, and I'm just passing by Ivory City to rest here for a day. Ning Yu smiled and said, I'm only suspecting Zhang Hu's identity, but I'm not sure. Since Yang Kuan did not believe him, Ning Yu did not want to say anything more. After all, he was not very familiar with Yang Kuan, and reminding him was already very kind of him. Moreover, he had already stayed in Ivory City for a day, and it was time to leave. Ning Yu, why don't you stay here for another day and go to the Ivory Tower? Seeing that Ning Yu was about to leave, Yang Kuan hurriedly said. He also knew that Ning Yu had good intentions and did not want to sow discord between the Zhang family and the City Lord's mansion. After all, the relationship between the Zhang family and the City Lord's mansion was already very tense, and there was no need for Ning Yu to sow discord. Ning Yu, in fact, there is a shortcut to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. As long as you can reach the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower, you can enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College unconditionally. Yang Kuan continued. Hearing this, Ning Yu slightly stopped and asked, is the Ivory Tower a place where anyone can enter? Only martial artists in the top 5,000 of the innate realm battle list are qualified to enter. As for you, that's enough. Yang Kuan said, tomorrow is the opening time of the Ivory Tower. If you're interested, you can go and have a try. After thinking for a while, Ning Yu said, all right, I will stay and have a try in the ivory tower. Then you can stay in the city lord's mansion today and go with you to the ivory tower tomorrow." Yang Kuan waved his hand, and immediately an old man entered the hall. "Old-o, take Ningyu to rest and arrange the best room for him." Seeing the so-called old-o, Ningyu's face slightly froze, and he was somewhat shocked. This was because he sensed a terrifying aura coming from Elder O. This terrifying aura meant that Old O's strength was at least at the peak of the true martial realm. Yang Kuan is trying to show me his strength. Ningyu felt a little baffled. After all, he and Yang Kuan had no grievances, so there was no need for Yang Kuan to treat him like this. If it was because he withstood the pressure of Yang Kuan's aura, then Yang Kuan was too stingy. Without thinking too much, Ningyu left with Old O. After Ningyu left, Yang Kuan's face became completely gloomy. How confident are you in defeating Zhang Hu? If I use my trump card, I have a 30% chance of defeating him. Yang Yu said, 30% chance. It seems that Zhang Hu is indeed very strong. After pondering for a moment, Yang Kuan said, "How about this? You go to the ivory tower tomorrow. As for whether Zhang Hu is from the corpse sect or not, I will find out within 3 days. If he is not from the corpse sect, I will find a way to cancel the life and death battle between you two. But if he is from the corpse sect, then I will make him die a horrible death." Clenching his fists, Yang Kuan's face was filled with ruthlessness. The reason why he hated the corpse sect so much was because his wife died in the hands of the corpse sect 10 years ago. Swish! In a dense forest to the west of Ivory City, a white figure quickly passed by. A moment later, the white figure came to a stop. He took out a crystal ball and looked at it. He frowned and murmured, "Why did the aura dissipate here? Could it be that he knows a secret method to disperse the aura he emits? Since the aura dissipated here, then I will use this place as the center and search all the nearby cities." With a cold expression, the white figure rushed out and flew into the distance. Woof! At the same time, the Dark Emperor ran into the room where Ningyu was at the City Lord's mansion of Ivory City. After entering the room, the Dark Emperor sat on the bed, stuck out his tongue, and gasped for breath. Seeing that the Dark Emperor had returned, Ningyu asked, "Dark Emperor, how did it go?" "Don't worry about me," the Dark Emperor said, "but don't let me do this kind of thing in the future. It's too tiring. You're the only one who can do this." Ningyu spread out his hands and said helplessly, "Although I can disperse the aura I left on my body, I can't help you disperse the faint aura of the heaven-devouring hound that I left on your body." The Dark Emperor rolled his eyes and said, "The aura of the heaven-devouring hound that I left behind is very weak. Unless it is a cultivator with a powerful soul perception, it will definitely not be discovered." Chapter 158. Aura, Tracking Treasure. The Dark Emperor was taken aback. He had never heard of an aura tracking treasure. "That's right." Nodding, Ningyu said, "Aura tracking treasures are amazing. As long as they lock onto your aura, you will be found even if you run to the ends of the earth. There's only one way to break the aura tracking treasure, and that is to disperse your aura. You can't disperse it within a short distance. You have to disperse it for at least a day. Only then will the treasure not be able to find you. So what if they find me? With our strength, there's nothing to be afraid of." The Dark Emperor said disapprovingly, "By the way, have you refined the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse?" "Not yet," Ningyu said. When they killed Master Lung, Ningyu and the others had taken control of a half-step Primal Core Realm Dark Golden Spirit Corpse from the cave and placed it in the storage ring. Originally, Ningyu planned to refine it at the Pleasant Arrival Inn. Who would have thought he would encounter the duel between Yang Yu and Zhang Hu, causing the matter to be delayed. "Dark Emperor, guard me. Don't let anyone enter the room without my permission." Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice, "Since the Zhang clan of Ivory City is a branch of the Zhang clan of the capital, then the situation we are facing is very serious. We must refine the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse to increase our strength. All right, the dark golden spirit corpse has the strength of a half-step primal core realm. As long as you can refine it, even if we encounter a half-step primal core realm cultivator, we have nothing to fear. As he spoke, the Dark Emperor left the room in a flash and stood guard in front of the door. However, the Dark Emperor did not have a nervous expression. Instead, he laid on the ground lazily with his eyes closed, sleeping soundly. Inside the room, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out the dark golden spirit corpse from the storage ring. Luckily, the dark golden spirit corpse's body did not grow bigger. Looking at the dark golden spirit corpse that was taller than a person, Ningyu let out a sigh of relief. Back in the stone room, the dark gold spirit corpse's body was extremely large, as tall as several people. However, back then, the dark gold spirit corpse was full of energy. Now, it was just an empty shell with no energy at all. Shell. Without thinking too much, Ningyu's late-stage rank 4 soul force swept out and suddenly entered the dark golden spirit corpse's mind. Chi-Chi. As soon as his soul force entered the dark gold spirit corpse's mind, Ningyu's expression changed because his soul force was obstructed, and it was extremely obstructed. Damn it, it's actually a wisp of soul force left behind by Master Long, and it even has some consciousness. Cursing inwardly, Ningyu threw himself into the battle of soul force with Master Long. The dark golden spirit corpse had already been refined by Master Long, and he had already carved a soul imprint in its mind. As long as Ningyu could not erase Master Long's soul imprint, he would not be able to control the dark golden spirit corpse. Kid, how dare you snatch my dark golden spirit corpse? You're courting death. Suddenly, a voice resounded out in Ningyu's mind, and it caused his expression to change slightly. But that was all, because he noticed that this wisp of Master Lung's soul energy couldn't be considered to be strong, and it was at the peak of grade 4 at most. Moreover, this wisp of Master Lung's soul power was fighting alone without any backup. Hee, you like a grasshopper after autumn. You won't be able to jump around for long. With a faint smile, the soul force in Ningyu's body poured out and suppressed Master Lung's soul force together with the wind, thunder, and fire. Master Lung let out a blood-curdling scream in the dark golden spirit corpse's mind. He did not expect Ningyu's soul force to be so powerful that it had actually reached the late-stage grade 4. Moreover, the wind, thunder, and fire were like a ferocious tiger under Ningyu's control, tearing at his soul force crazily. Master Lung, don't struggle anymore. Just accept your death. With a sneer, the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness swept out and entered the dark golden spirit corpse's mind. Swoosh, swoosh, whoosh. Advanced grade 4 soul force was comparable to the powerful vitality of a mid-stage, true martial realm martial artist. Wind, thunder, and fire. Under the 3 powerful attacks, Master Lung did not last long before his soul force was completely shattered. Soul imprint, engrave. After dispersing Master Lung's soul force, Ningyu instantly separated a wisp of soul force and engraved an imprint in the dark golden spirit corpse's mind. Buzz. As soon as Ningyu engraved his soul force, his heart skipped a beat. This was because he realized that the vitality in his sea of consciousness was gushing out crazily and entering the dark golden spirit corpse's body. Early stage, true martial realm. Early stage, true martial realm. Middle stage, true martial realm. Peak stage, true martial realm. As the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness weakened, the dark golden spirit corpse's aura became stronger and stronger. In the end, it even reached the peak of middle stage, true martial realm. However, although the dark golden spirit corpse's aura was strengthened, the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness was completely depleted. There was nothing left. Holy sh*T, isn't the speed of absorbing vitality a little too terrifying? Slightly stunned, Ningyu immediately took out a storage bag from his storage ring. It contained almost all of his wealth, 500,000 high-grade origin crystals. Back then, in order to fight against the dark golden spirit corpse, Ningyu gave all of his high-grade origin crystals to the Dark Emperor. The Dark Emperor was also a big mouth. In just over 10 minutes, he had devoured more than 100,000 high-grade origin crystals. Therefore, Ningyu is only left with 500,000 high-grade origin crystals. Since the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse needed vitality, Ningyu is not stingy. After leaving 100 high-grade origin crystals, he threw the rest into the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth along with the storage bag. Crack! Crack! After the storage bag entered the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth, pieces of high-grade origin crystals gushed out as if they were subjected to an extremely strong suction force. The Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth also moved up and down, and crunching sounds rang out incessantly. It chewed the high-grade origin crystals piece by piece, and powerful vitality flowed throughout its body. 500,000 high-grade origin crystals is enough to increase the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's strength to half-step origin core stage. I wonder how long it can last. After thinking for a while, Ningyu moved his soul force and controlled the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse into a storage ring. Subsequently, Ningyu's soul force gushed out, and he began to practice the heaven-splitting 8th Desolation Palm. The heaven-splitting 8th Desolation Palm was also a soul attack technique. Ningyu had already successfully practiced the first form. The second form, Desolate Earth Palm, as his soul force had reached the late-stage 4th grade, Ningyu did not spend too much time to successfully practice the Desolate Earth Palm. Subsequently, he took out the remaining 100 high-grade origin crystals in his storage ring, circulated the spirit transformation technique, and began to slowly absorb them. The night passed uneventfully. On the second day, when the first ray of sunlight shone on the ground, Yang Yu arrived in front of the room that Ningyu lived in. However, the Dark Emperor blocked his path, raised his head, and said, "Little kid, do you want to see Ningyu?" Yes. Yang Yu was somewhat puzzled and said, "Where did you go yesterday? Why didn't I see you? Do I need to report to you when I do things?" The Dark Emperor had a high and mighty appearance, as he said disdainfully, "Creak." Chapter 159. Brother Ning, it's good that you're out. Let's go and barge into the ivory tower, Yang Yu said with joy when he saw Ningyu come out. Let's go. I want to see the so-called ivory tower, Ningyu said. Hey, don't forget about me. The Dark Emperor was unhappy and said angrily, "Do I have the right to barge into that ivory tower?" You? Yang Yu was stunned when he heard that. He then smiled. "Stop joking. How can a dog barge into the ivory tower?" Whoosh! Hearing Yang Yu's words, the Dark Emperor immediately attacked and clawed at Yang Yu's chest. Yang Yu did not take the Dark Emperor's attack seriously. He clenched his right fist and casually threw a punch. Chi. However, as soon as the punch came into contact with the Dark Emperor's claw, it shattered. Then, the Dark Emperor's claw arrived before his chest like a bolt of lightning. Oh no! The sudden change caused Yang Yu's expression to change slightly. He never thought that the Dark Emperor would actually be so powerful to be able to easily disperse the fist light that he had struck out. In the blink of an eye, the Yuan in Yang Yu's sea of consciousness surged and gathered before his chest. However, just as the Dark Emperor's claw was about to collide with Yang Yu's Yuan, a growl was heard. "Emperor of the Dark World, behave yourself." Ningyu took a step forward and stood between the Dark Emperor and Yang Yu. "Can't you just talk things out? Why do you have to fight?" Whoosh! The Emperor of the Dark World seemed to have expected that Ningyu would interfere. The moment Ningyu stepped out, he suddenly stopped and said indifferently, "I don't care. I just want to teach some people a lesson. Don't let them look down on dogs." No, it should be people looking down on the Emperor. "All right, let's go. Don't waste time here. Let's hurry to the ivory tower." Ningyu did not want to waste time here, so he waved his hand and said, Yes, let's go to the ivory tower." Yang Yu didn't want to stay here any longer. He quickly walked away. What kind of free combination is this? Through the short exchange, just now, Yang Yu had already determined the strength of Ningyu and the Dark Emperor. Ningyu is indeed ranked 90th on the innate realm battle board. The speed that he displayed in that instant was far beyond his reach. The fact that the Dark Emperor was able to stop his body in an instant meant that he was not weak either. Behind him, the Dark Emperor asked, Ningyu, have you refined the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse? The Dark Gold Spirit Corpse has been refined, but the high-grade origin crystals on me have also been refined. Ningyu was a little helpless as he told the Dark Emperor about what happened when he refined the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. It's fine. The more high-grade origin crystals the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse absorbs, the stronger its strength will be. The Dark Emperor consoled. If you run out of high-grade essence crystals, you can earn them. If you lose your life, you will have nothing left. I didn't expect you to be so open-minded, Ningyu said as he quickened his pace to catch up with Yangyu. As for the Dark Emperor, he rolled his eyes and left midway. The Ivory City was bustling today as it was the opening day of the Ivory Tower. All the martial artists who were ranked in the top 5,000 on the Innate Realm Battle Board were qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. If one was lucky enough to make it to the 8th level, he would be able to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College unconditionally. The Ivory Tower was located in a huge square in the middle of the Ivory City. It was 10 stories tall and looked majestic. Beside the Ivory Tower, there was a huge round fighting platform. It was the Ivory Stage. At this time, many warriors had already gathered in the square. Among these martial artists, some were going to enter the Ivory Tower, while some were just here to watch the show. After all, not everyone was qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. Cough, cough. On the high platform, Yang Kuan coughed and stood up from his chair. He said loudly, "Let me get straight to the point. Today is the opening day of the Ivory Tower. Only the top 5,000 martial artists on the Innate Realm Battle Board are qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. Don't try to make up the numbers. Those who are not ranked in the top 5,000 on the Innate Realm Battle Board will be teleported out even if you enter the Ivory Tower. I hereby announce that the Ivory Tower is officially open." Buzz, buzz. As Yang Kuan finished his sentence, the heavy stone door on the first floor of the Ivory Tower opened slowly. Swoosh. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Then, a few figures flashed past and entered the Ivory Tower. "Brother Ning, let's go in too." Yang Yu and Ning Yu stood beside the Ivory Tower. When most of the people had entered, they moved to enter the Ivory Tower. "Why, Yang Yu, are you going to enter the Ivory Tower today?" However, before they moved, a voice rang in their ears. Then, Zhang Hu walked over with a smile. Zhang Hu said to Yang Yu, "Last time you stopped at the 5th floor. This time, you should be able to enter the 6th floor, right?" Among the martial artists who entered the Ivory Tower this time, only you barely made it. The others are just a bunch of mobs. They are not worthy of my attention. You. Yang Yu clenched his fists and said angrily, "Let's wait and see." Shrugging his shoulders, Zhang Hu's figure flashed into the Ivory Tower. However, when he left, a voice rang in Ning Yu's ears. "You are very strong, much stronger than that useless Yang Yu. I am looking forward to fighting with you in the Ivory Tower." The words that rang in his ears made Ning Yu frown. He was a little shocked. Soul transmission. Zhang Hu was indeed a genius of the Corpsine sect. He even knew how to use soul transmission. From this, it could be seen that Zhang Hu was not only skilled in martial arts, but he was also highly skilled in alchemy. Swoosh! At this moment, Yang Yu's figure flashed, and he entered the Ivory Tower. Seeing Yang Yu enter, Ning Yu shook his head and stopped thinking about it. His figure flashed, and he flew into the Ivory Tower. On the high platform, a middle-aged man smiled and said to Yang Kuan, "City Lord Yang, do you think anyone will be able to reach the 7th floor this time? Patriarch Zhangze, your son reached the 6th floor last time. I'm afraid he will be heading for the 7th floor this time, right?" Yang Kuan said, "The rest of the martial artists can only reach the 6th floor at best. City Lord Yang, my son does not have the ability. I will be satisfied if he can reach the 6th floor." A smile hung on the corner of Zhangze's mouth. He immediately changed the topic and faintly said, "What do you think about the life and death fight between the junior city governor and my son?" Yang Kuan narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "That is just a joke made by a child. In my opinion, there is no need to take it seriously." The young city lord and my son are not young anymore. We should respect their decision and not interfere. Zhang raised the corner of his mouth and said, "This matter is already spread in Ivory City. When the time comes, why not let them enter the Ivory Tower and have a duel? There is no need for a life and death battle." After saying that, Zhang closed his eyes and chose to rest. As for Yang Kuan, his expression became very ugly. He knew that once they entered the Ivory Tower, it would be a life and death battle. Chapter 160. Ningyu had no idea what was happening in the square. The moment he stepped into the Ivory Tower, his vision dimmed. Then, the space around him wriggled and countless white light spots appeared. Within these white light spots, Ningyu could feel the ripples of energy. So this is the first level of the Ivory Tower. I wonder how I can pass through it. Looking at the increasing number of white light spots, Ningyu frowned in confusion. Whoosh! However, not long after Ningyu spoke, the space around him wriggled again and an illusory figure appeared. The first level of the Ivory Tower collect 1,000 white light spots within 2 hours. After the illusory figure appeared, it tossed a black token to Ningyu and said, "Put the white light spots you collect on the token. It will absorb them." Swoosh! Then, the illusory figure became even more illusory and disappeared. Looking at the black token in his hand, Ningyu did not hesitate. His figure flashed as he reached out to grab the white Poochie. However, just as Ningyu grabbed the speck of white light in his hand, it turned into nothingness with a puff before he could place it on the token. What's going on? The sudden change was obviously out of Ningyu's expectation, and he was stunned for a moment. Since he could not grab the white light spots with his hands, could it be that he had to use his soul power? Thinking of this, Ningyu released a wisp of soul power from his body and wrapped it around his wrist. Then, he grabbed the white light spots. Swoosh! This time, the white light spots did not disappear under the suppression of the soul power. Seizing the opportunity, Ningyu placed the white light spots on the token. Instantly, the white light spots were absorbed into the token. Luckily, at this speed, I will be able to collect 1,000 white light spots in no time. Since he had found a way to collect the white light spots, Ningyu did not waste any more time. He split his soul power into several wisps and carefully collected the white light spots. Buzz! Half an hour later, the black token suddenly vibrated and let out a buzzing sound. Shio! Then, the black token broke free from Ningyu's control and flew into the air. Right at this moment, the surroundings suddenly became bright, and everything changed greatly. Ningyu discovered that in front of him was a bronze stone door. There was a groove on the stone door. Could it be that the key to open the stone door is the black token? Ningyu muttered as he looked at the shape of the groove. Creak! In the next moment, the black token fell into the groove, and the heavy stone door slowly opened. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu strode in. When Ningyu entered the second floor of the Ivory Tower, everyone in the square let out a cry of surprise because the third floor of the Ivory Tower was already lit up. The third level was lit up, which meant that someone had reached the third level of the Ivory Tower. Only an hour had passed since he entered the Ivory Tower. It was truly shocking that he could make it to the third floor. In my opinion, the one who made it to the third floor must be Zhang Hu. Previously, he made it to the sixth floor. The last time the Ivory Tower opened, Zhang Hu was the fastest to make it to the third floor, but he spent an hour. I didn't expect him to shorten the time by half this time. Don't forget, Yang Yu is not weak either. Maybe the martial artist who made it to the third floor is Yang Yu. Anyway, it's the two of them. There's no one else. The discussions in the square made Zhang Zhe, who was on the high platform, happy. He could conclude that the martial artist who made it to the third floor was Zhang Hu, and not Yang Yu. No one knew Zhang Hu's strength better than him. If Zhang Hu gave it his all, there was an 80% chance that he could make it to the top 50 of the innate realm combat list. In the death match 3 days later, if there were no accidents, Yang Yu would definitely die. Thinking of this, Zhang Zhe smiled and said to Yang Kun, "Governor Yang, I think the martial artist who made it to the third floor should be the young city governor, right?" "Master Zhang, You must be joking. Your son is strong, and he will definitely be the first to make it to the third floor, Yang Kuan said with an ugly expression. Wow. At this moment, the third floor of the ivory tower lit up again. This sudden change caused Zhang Zhe to be slightly stunned. After which, he said, another person has reached the third level. This person should be my son. Although Zhang Zhe said so, Yang Kuan did not think so. He was sure that the first martial artist to make it to the third floor was Zhang Hu. As for who the second one was, he was a little surprised. But soon, his eyes narrowed, and he had a guess in his heart. On the third floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu frowned as he looked at the white shadow that blocked his way. From the white virtual figure's body, he did not discover the slightest trace of origin energy undulations, which was to say that the martial prowess of the white virtual figure in front of him was not considered strong. First of all, congratulations on entering the third floor of the ivory tower in such a short time. The white shadow said, this round should be easy for you. There's no need for an assessment. You can directly enter the fourth floor. Why? Ningyu did not understand why he could enter the fourth floor without an assessment. As you can see, I don't sense any yuan power from my body. In other words, this round tests my soul power. With a smile, the white shadow said, my soul power is at the peak of the third grade, while your soul power is at the advanced stage of the fourth grade. It's a few times stronger than mine. If I compete with you in soul power, I will definitely lose. It's meaningless. If your soul power is only at the early stage of the fourth grade, I might compete with you. But now there's no need. As soon as he finished speaking, the white shadow disappeared. Behind him, a flight of stairs appeared, leading to the fourth floor. Ningyu felt helpless. Since there was no need to challenge this round, he did not ask any more questions. Instead, he strode forward and headed to the fourth floor. At the same time, in another space, Zhang Hu stabbed with his sword and destroyed the white shadow in front of him. Keeping his flying sword, Zhang Hu said coldly, last time, I used 3 strikes to destroy the white shadow. This time, I destroyed it with 1 strike. Not bad at all. Swoosh! After destroying the white shadow, Zhang Hu did not enter the fourth floor immediately. Instead, he sat down with his legs crossed. After recovering his mental state to its peak, he stood up and walked to the fourth floor. In the space next to him, Yang Yu took out a jade bracelet. He slowly injected his soul power into the jade bracelet. Then, the jade bracelet suddenly exploded with a strong tearing force, directly destroying the white shadow. Luckily, Father gave me this jade bracelet. Otherwise, with my early stage of the third grade, I would have to go through as much trouble as last time. Keeping the jade bracelet, Yang Yu was like Zhang Hu. He was not in a hurry to enter the fourth floor. He took out a few elixirs and swallowed them. Then he slowly activated his skill and began to refine them. Chapter 161 F***CK Standing at the entrance to the fourth floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu could not help but curse. Moreover, he hurriedly released the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness, forming a yuan qi barrier around his body. This was because on the fourth floor, he saw a shocking scene. The entire fourth floor was occupied by a type of demonic beast, the cloud leopard. The cloud leopard was a fourth-order demonic beast. Its strength was comparable to a martial artist at the peak of the initial stage of the true martial realm. It had a violent temperament, and they were very territorial. As long as an outsider intruded into their territory, there would definitely be a bloodbath. 50 cloud leopards. Isn't this a little too difficult? Ningyu's expression turned ugly as he thought to himself that this was a scam. Even a martial artist ranked in the top 50 on the innate realm battle list would most likely be defeated by 50 cloud leopards at the same time. Roar! Without waiting for Ningyu to think further, one of the cloud leopards stomped on the ground and instantly appeared in front of him. With a furious roar, the cloud leopard raised its tail and ruthlessly swept it at Zhou Dongwang. Damn it! Cursing, Ningyu gathered essence on his wrist and punched out. Bang! The cloud leopard did not expect a Xiantian advanced stage martial artist to dare to fight it head-on. It was stunned for a moment. However, in the instant that it was stunned, Ningyu's fist had already arrived in front of it, and it landed right on its body. A dull thud sounded out. The cloud leopard was knocked back several feet and fell heavily on the ground. Isn't this defense a little too terrifying? Looking at the cloud leopard crawling up from the ground once again, Ningyu was speechless. Although he did not use 100% of his strength in that punch, he had still used 50% of it. Originally, he thought that even though a punch with 50% of his strength would not be able to kill the cloud leopard, it would be enough to severely injure it. Now, it seemed like he had thought too much. 50 cloud leopards. Let's see what my limit is today. With a cold expression, Ningyu took out the soul-breaking sword. Vital Qi surged out from one of the cyclones and poured into the breaking soul sword. Then, Ningyu took a step forward and slashed out with the breaking soul sword. Walala! Several sharp sword lights slashed out, interweaving into a net of sword lights in front of Ningyu, and then exploding out in unison. Roar! Faced with such a sharp sword light, the cloud leopard did not retreat. Instead, it let out a loud roar and charged at Ningyu. Chi chi chi. The instant the sword light came into contact with the cloud-soaring leopards, more than 10 of them were forced back. As for the other 30 or so cloud-soaring leopards, they furiously charged towards Ningyu. Heaven Fiend's sword wave. Ningyu narrowed his eyes and swung the absolute soul sword again. Immediately, a shocking sword wave appeared and blasted at the cloud leopard at the front. Uft. The cloud-soaring leopard was indeed a demonic beast with an astonishing defense. The Heaven Fiend's sword wave only left a bloody mark on its body. It was not seriously injured. Oof. Teisho Kenpo. With a cold snort, Ningyu stabbed out with his sword. He used the third form of the 9 Pure Ones sword technique, the powerful Teisho Kenpo. Roar. As soon as the Teisho Kenpo slashed out, the cloud-soaring leopards around him roared angrily. It was as if they had encountered an extremely dangerous situation, and they actually retreated. Although the cloud-soaring leopards loved to fight, they were not stupid. In the face of absolute power, they would not throw their lives away. They are retreating? This turn of events was not what Ningyu had expected. However, in his opinion, he had to kill all the cloud-soaring leopards here in order to pass the 4th level. Hence, even though the cloud-soaring leopards were retreating, Ningyu continued to control the soul-severing sword and slashed out several Teisho Kenpo. In an instant, 2 of the 6 energy whirlpools in his consciousness had been completely depleted. You have already passed the 4th level. Why do you still want to kill us? Seeing that the Teisho Kenpo was about to hit its body, one of the cloud-soaring leopards at the front shouted, "As long as you don't kill us, we will immediately open the entrance to the 5th level and let you enter it successfully." I have passed the 4th level? Ningyu was slightly stunned. Then he asked doubtfully, "Don't I have to kill you to pass the 4th level? As long as you can withstand our attacks for 3 minutes, you will pass the 4th level," the cloud-soaring leopard leader muttered. What a freak. In the past, all the cultivators who entered the 4th level would hide in their turtle shells and let us attack them for 3 minutes. But you, on the other hand, immediately attacked us. Hearing the cloud-soaring leopard leader's muttering, Ningyu rolled his eyes. He had the urge to curse. So it turned out that passing the 4th level was so easy. He had thought that he would have to kill all the cloud-soaring leopards. "Tell me what the 5th level is," Ningyu asked as he rolled his eyes. "I can't tell you. You just have to try it once, and you will know next time." The cloud-soaring leopard leader clearly didn't want to say much. Instead, it roared at the cloud-soaring leopards behind it. Soon after, the cloud-soaring leopards unwillingly opened the stone door behind them. Swoosh! Ningyu didn't intend to enter the 5th level. Instead, he flicked his wrist, and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. Now you have 2 choices. 1. Tell me what the later levels are. 2. Die. As the word die was uttered, Ningyu waved the soul-severing sword. Instantly, a shocking sword light appeared in the air, as if it was about to attack. All right. I will tell you what the 5th level is." Seeing the illusory sword light, the cloud-soaring leopard leader hurriedly said, "The fifth level is very simple. It tests the density of one's origin energy. As long as your origin energy can light up to 5 stars, you can enter the 6th level. With your strength, passing the 5th level will be a piece of cake." At this point, the leader of the cloud-soar leopards paused for a moment before continuing, "However, the 6th floor is not that easy to pass. This is because the 6th floor tests a person's talent. Unless your talent reaches the requirements of the test, it is impossible to enter the 7th floor. The 7th level tests one's strongest battle prowess. As for the rest, I don't know." Frowning slightly, Ningyu waved his hand and said, "You guys pass. I will now enter the 5th level." As he spoke, Ningyu took a step forward and entered the 5th level of the ivory tower. Seeing that Ningyu had left, the cloud-soaring leopards felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Their taut nerves relaxed a little as they thought to themselves that they had finally sent off this fiend. Creak! Not long after Ningyu left, the stone door to the 4th level opened once again. Following this, Zhang Hu walked in. Seeing Zhang Hu, the cloud-soaring leopards were initially stunned. However, when they felt the ripples of origin energy from Zhang Hu's body, they all roared angrily and charged at Zhang Hu. "What's going on?" The sudden change caused Zhang Hu to be slightly dumbfounded. The last time he entered the 4th level, there was only one cloud-soaring leopard that had attacked him. Why were there 50 cloud-soaring leopards attacking him at the same time now? However, after a short moment of confusion, Zhang Hu's wrist shook and a flying sword appeared. He slashed out a few sword lights that landed on the cloud-soaring leopards at the very front. Chapter 162. What's going on today? Seeing that their companion had been killed, the rest of the cloud-soaring leopards stopped their attacks. The leader of the cloud-soaring leopards was extremely frustrated. It could feel that Zhang Hu's strength was not much weaker than Ningyu's. "You've passed the 4th level." The leader of the cloud-soaring leopards was no fool. It knew that Zhang Hu had the ability to kill them, so it quickly said, "I'll open the stone door now and let you enter the 5th level." As it spoke, the leader of the cloud-soaring leopards took a step back and personally opened the stone door to the 5th level. Swoosh! Although the leader of the cloud-soaring leopards' actions confused Zhang Hu, he was not an indecisive person. It was always a good thing that he could reduce his energy consumption here. Zhang Hu did not stay here for long. His figure flashed, and he entered the 5th level. Just as Zhang Hu left, Yang Yu flew in. "You've also passed the 4th level. You can now enter the 5th level." Seeing Yang Yu, the leader of the cloud-soaring leopards was stunned for a moment. Then it opened the stone door to the 5th level. Moreover, the cloud-soaring leopards lined up on both sides, leaving a path for Yang Yu. What's going on? The strange scene before him caused Yang Yu to be dumbfounded. His brain even short-circuited for a moment. Could it be that the leader of the cloud-soaring leopards had taken the wrong medicine? Or had it lost its mind? The last time he was on the 4th level, Yang Yu had only lasted 3 minutes after expending a tremendous amount of effort. Originally, he was prepared for a long battle. Who would have thought that such a scene would occur? After all, Yang Yu had challenged the ivory tower once. He did not hesitate for too long and carefully walked forward. A minute later, Yang Yu arrived at the entrance to the 5th level. With a leap, he entered the 5th level. Whoosh! After Yang Yu entered the 5th level, the entire square was in an uproar. Everyone was discussing among themselves. How did 3 martial artists make it to the 5th level in less than 3 minutes? Among the martial artists who made it to the 5th level, one is Zhang Hu, another is Yang Yu. Who's the last one? I don't know. I've never heard of any genius challenging the ivory tower. A martial artist ranked 500th on the innate realm ranking will definitely not make it to the 5th level. Numerous discussions entered Zhang Zai's ears, causing his face to turn a little gloomy. He had investigated and found out that among the top 1,000 martial artists on the innate realm rankings, only 3 came to challenge the ivory tower. They were Zhang Hu, ranked 100th on the innate realm rankings, and Yang Yu, ranked 101st. As for the other martial artist, Xiao Ju, ranked 500 on the innate realm battle board. There was naturally no need to talk about the first two. Making it to the 5th level was also understandable. However, with Xiao Ju's strength, it was practically impossible for him to make it to the 5th level. City Lord Yang, do you know who this cultivator is? Zhang Zhe turned around and asked with a frown. How would I know? All the warriors in the top 5,000 of the innate realm list are allowed to enter the ivory tower. Maybe he is a hidden expert. Shrugging his shoulders, Yang Kuan said indifferently. It doesn't seem to have much to do with you as to how many levels others have reached, right? Why are you so nervous? Humph. Of course it doesn't matter. With a cold snort, Zhang Zhe said in a deep voice, I'm just curious. The reason why Zhang Zhe was a little nervous was because he was afraid that the martial artist who made it to the 5th floor was from the City Lord Manor and was a pawn of Yang Kuan. After all, as long as one could make it to the 5th floor of the ivory tower, he would be able to meet other martial artists. Zhang Zhe was worried that Yang Yu would team up with another martial artist to attack Zhang Hu. Swoosh! At the same time, on the 5th floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu was shocked to see Zhang Hu and Yang Yu arrive. He had always thought that the ivory tower was a separate challenge. He did not expect to meet them again on the 5th floor. You're not bad. You dare to enter the 5th floor before me. Zhang Hu's face was slightly solemn as he said in a deep voice. But sometimes, entering the 5th floor first doesn't mean that you are the strongest. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu said indifferently, I never said that I am the strongest. Then, Ningyu walked forward to a giant crystal ball and placed his palm on it. Traces of Yuan force flowed through his palm into the crystal ball. Swoosh! However, just as Ningyu's palm touched the crystal ball, Zhang Hu's face turned cold. In a flash, he appeared next to Ningyu and lifted his leg to kick at Ningyu's arm. Seeing this, Ningyu quickly retracted his palm, grabbed Zhang Hu's leg, and flung him away. Smack! Landing firmly on the ground, Zhang Hu's lips curled up. I told you, I am looking forward to fighting you in the ivory tower. Not interested. After the attack, Ningyu took another step forward and placed his palm on the crystal ball. However, Zhang Hu obviously did not want to let him have his way. With quick steps, he dashed towards him once again. Swoosh! Dodging Zhang Hu's attack, Ningyu said coldly, What are you trying to do? This is the ivory tower. I have no time to fight you. Hee, that is not up to you. Smiling, Zhang Hu said, Do you know why we can meet on the 5th floor of the ivory tower? Because this is the real ivory fighting platform. As he finished speaking, Zhang Hu forced a drop of blood to drip on the crystal ball. Then he quickly made a hand sign and shouted, Ivory fighting platform, activate. Crack, 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 crack. Following that, four cracking sounds were heard. Then, four beams of light shot up to the sky and surrounded Ningyu and the rest. What? This is the ivory fighting platform? Could the legend be true? Looking at the huge beams of light around him, Yang Yu's expression changed. He said coldly, Zhang Hu, how do you know how to activate the ivory fighting platform? In the past, Yang Yu had heard from his father that the ivory fighting platform was most likely the real ivory fighting platform. However, the method to activate the ivory fighting platform had been lost for thousands of years. How did Zhang Hu know how to activate the ivory fighting platform? How do I know how to activate the ivory fighting platform? Since you're all going to die, there's no harm in me telling you. As he spoke, Zhang Hu's face gradually distorted. In the end, he looked like a completely different person. Moreover, Zhang Hu's body emitted a powerful aura, indicating that he had reached the peak of the Xiantian realm. It seems that I was right. You are really from the corpse sect. Ningyu said in a deep voice. Corpse-in sect. Hearing Ningyu's words, Yang Yu's expression changed. He quickly moved closer to Ningyu. You're the first person to be so calm after knowing my identity. Zhang Hu said with a faint smile. In order to reward you, I will kill you first. I want to ask, do the people outside not know that we are fighting here? Ningyu asked. Only Xiantian realm warriors can enter the ivory tower. Don't think that someone will come in and save you. Zhang Hu's lips curled into a sinister smile as he said, "Furthermore, even if we fight to the death here, no one outside will know." Chapter 163. Since you've said so, I'm relieved, Ningyu said indifferently after Zhang Hu finished speaking. You're relieved? What are you relieved about? Hearing Ningyu's words, Zhang Hu was stunned for a moment. Then he asked doubtfully, "You're relieved that I'm going to kill you?" Zhang Hu, don't be too arrogant. Ningyu is ranked 90th on the innate realm battle board. Today, if we join forces, it's hard to tell who will win. At this moment, Yang Yu took a step forward and stood beside Ningyu. Ningyu, why does this name sound so familiar? Hearing this, Zhang Hu frowned. Then, as if remembering something, he said, "Oh right, you were the one who made the left guardian suffer in Danlong Valley, right?" As he spoke, Zhang Hu looked around and said, "Where's that heaven-devouring hound? If it's not by your side, you're definitely not my opponent." Heaven-devouring hound. That puppy is a heaven-devouring hound. Beside him, Yang Yu was shocked. He had always thought that the Dark Emperor was a puppy. He didn't expect it to be a heaven-devouring hound. Hee, Zhang Hu, I can deal with you alone." With a smile, Ningyu rose from the ground. Yuan Qi appeared on his palm, and he slapped at Zhang Hu. "I've killed the top 50 martial artists on the innate realm ranking list, not to mention you're only ranked 90th. Seeing Ningyu charging at him, Zhang Hu's lips curled into a smile. Then, he clenched his right fist and clashed with Ningyu's palm. Bang! When the fist and palm collided, a muffled sound was heard. Then, Ningyu felt a piercing pain in his palm and quickly retreated. "Zhang Hu, you're really strong." After the exchange, Ningyu and Zhang Hu both stopped and did not continue to attack. Through a hasty exchange of blows, Ningyu had already roughly determined Zhang Hu's true strength, the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm. In other words, with Zhang Hu's current battle prowess, even if he were to face a martial artist at the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm, he would still be able to contend with and even kill him. "You're not weak either." At this moment, the look of contempt on Zhang Hu's face was completely swept away, replaced by a solemn expression. "If not for the fact that I urgently need to replenish my energy and soul force, perhaps I would still play with you, but now." Speaking till here, Zhang Hu paused for a moment, and then his whole body shook. At this moment, an aura not weaker than the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm completely burst out. "I'm sorry, but you can only be a stepping stone for me." The instant his voice fell, all the essence in Zhang Hu's body gathered on his wrist. Then, with an extremely berserk essence wind, his fist ruthlessly smashed towards Ningyu's neck. The powerful wind brought about by the punch even caused the entire 5th floor of the ivory tower to shake. "Zhang Hu, all the people of the corpse sect should die." Just when the essence in Ningyu's sea of consciousness was surging and he was about to resist, Yang Yu took a step forward, suddenly setting off a powerful fluctuation on the ground. Immediately afterward, Zhang Hu took out a small jade bracelet from his bosom and instantly poured all the soul force in his body into the jade bracelet. "Go!" Accompanied by a low shout from Yang Yu's mouth, an overbearing, tearing force suddenly burst out from the jade bracelet, and with an extremely astonishing speed, it blasted towards Zhang Hu's chest. Damn it! Facing the huge, tearing force from the jade bracelet, even with Zhang Hu's powerful strength, at this moment, he could not help but be moved. After secretly cursing, he immediately turned his body, withdrew his fist, and collided with the overbearing, tearing force from the jade bracelet. "Humph! You actually dare to use your fist to resist the tearing force. Even a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm would not dare to." What? Seeing Zhang Hu being so arrogant, Yang Yu was a little excited, as if he could already see Zhang Hu's miserable state. However, this excitement did not last for long, as it was shattered by Zhang Hu's strong performance. Swoosh! After the fist blasted the tearing force, Zhang Hu's body turned into a shadow, and in the blink of an eye, he appeared next to Yang Yu. Under Yang Yu's incredulous face, the iron-like fist hit his chest. The huge force caused Yang Yu to retreat to the edge of the 5th floor until he spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. Only then did the force on his chest dissipate. "Why are you so strong?" Having no time to check on the injury on his chest, Yang Yu slightly opened his mouth and exclaimed, "The power of your attack just now is already close to the peak of the late stage of the true martial realm. As I said, I have killed martial artists in the top 50 of the innate realm. How much difference do you think there is between you and the martial artists in the top 50 of the innate realm?" Zhang Hu laughed. Top 50, top 50. Yang Yu was a little dumbfounded for a moment. Originally, he thought that the gap between him and Zhang Hu would not be too big, and he even wanted to use his trump card to fight with Zhang Hu. Now it seemed that the difference between naivety and reality was only a single thought. Pucci. Thinking of this, Yang Yu once again spat out a mouthful of blood, closed his eyes, and fainted. "Now that the fly has been dealt with, let me see your real strength." Ignoring Yang Yu, Zhang Hu said in a deep voice, "I hope you will not disappoint me." Hua. Without saying a word, Ning Yu's soul moved, and the phantom armor appeared. Desolate Earth Palm. Pushing the phantom armor's speed to the extreme, Ning Yu formed a hand seal with his wrist, and a touch of soul force wrapped around his palm. With a low shout, a huge earth character appeared in the air and blasted toward Zhang Hu. Soul attack skill. Zhang Hu's eyes narrowed. He did not expect Ning Yu to also know soul attack skill, and was stunned for a moment. It's impolite not to reciprocate. Today, I will show you what a real soul attack skill is. With an evil smile, Zhang Hu waved his wrist quickly, and in the blink of an eye, a huge palm print appeared on top of his head. Then, the huge palm print suddenly shot out and collided with the earth character in the air. Kacha! At the moment when the two palm prints collided, a cracking sound could be heard. Hearing this cracking sound, Ning Yu's expression changed slightly, because this cracking sound was the sound of the desolate earth palm being destroyed. Netherworld Samsara Palm, 3rd style, Dark Fiend. At this crucial moment, Ning Yu's palm grabbed the air, and instantly, a solid palm print appeared and collided with Zhang Hu's palm print. Kacha! The same cracking sound could be heard, but this time, it was produced by Zhang Hu's palm print. In other words, Zhang Hu's soul attack palm print was at a disadvantage in the exchange with Dark Fiend, and was destroyed. Swoosh! 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 After the successful attack, Ning Yu's expression turned cold, and he continuously sent out 4 solid palm prints, and together with the first palm print, they surrounded Zhang Hu from 5 directions. "Ning Yu, do you think this is all I can do?" With a cold shout, Zhang Hu took a few steps back, and then took out a white flying sword. Buzz! Yuan Qi from his knowledge flowed into the white flying sword, and instantly, the flying sword let out a buzzing sound. A middle-grade heaven-rank flying sword. Seeing the white flying sword in Zhang Hu's hand, Ning Yu's eyes narrowed, and a shocked expression appeared on his face. Chapter 164. Worthy of being a genius of the corpse sect. You actually have a mid-grade heaven tier flying sword at the peak of the Xiantian realm. It seems that your position in the corpse sect is not low. Originally, Ning Yu thought that Zhang Hu was just an ordinary genius of the corpse sect. Now, it seemed that he was wrong, very wrong. Zhang Hu's position in the corpse sect was definitely not low. It was even higher than the ordinary hall masters. I am from the ghost palace of the corpse sect. Zhang Hu was obviously satisfied with Ning Yu's reaction, but his hands did not stop. When the white flying sword's Yuan Qi was almost full, he stabbed out 5 shocking sword lights in a row. Chi 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 chi. The 5 shocking sword lights split into 5 different directions and collided with Ning Yu's ghostly fiend palm. 5 consecutive chi chi sounds rang out on the 5th floor of the ivory tower. Without a doubt, Ning Yu's ghostly fiend palm was completely destroyed by the 5 sword lights. The power of a mid-grade heaven-tier flying sword is indeed powerful. With a serious expression, Ningyu flicked his wrist and took out the absolute soul sword. I didn't expect you to also have a heaven-grade magic treasure. Looking at the absolute soul sword in Ningyu's hand, Zhang, who was slightly startled, and immediately said, "But your heaven-grade magic treasure seems to be only a low-grade heaven tier." Oof. A low-grade heaven tier magic treasure is enough to deal with you. With a cold snort, Ningyu injected Yuan Qi from his sea of consciousness into the absolute soul sword. Teisho Kenpo. A low roar sounded, and a terrifying sword wave attacked from the absolute soul sword without any warning. It strangely appeared in front of Zhang, who fiercely attacked his neck. Boneless sword light. Facing such a fierce sword wave, Zhang, who did not dare to be careless, and quickly waved the white flying sword in his hand. The next moment, a faintly discernible sword light appeared and locked onto Teisho Kenpo. The two collided on the 5th floor of the ivory tower. Boom! The collision of the two shocking sword lights caused even the 5th floor of the ivory tower to slightly shake. Crash! This slight tremor was noticed by some sharp-eyed people in the square. What's going on? The 5th floor of the ivory tower seems to have shaken. Are you seeing things? How can an ivory tower shake? You must be seeing things. That's impossible. I've cultivated a secret technique, so I'm very sensitive to even the slightest tremors. Could it be that someone is fighting inside the ivory tower? Whoosh! On the high platform of the square, Zhang Ze looked at the slightly shaking 5th floor of the ivory tower and stood up from his chair. His eyes were fixed on the 5th floor of the ivory tower, and there was a look of astonishment in his eyes. City Lord Yang, have you ever encountered such a situation before? Taking a deep breath, Zhang Ze slowly sat on the chair and said in a deep voice. Shaking his head, Yang Kuan said, "No. Ever since I became the city lord of Ivory City, I have never encountered such a situation. Is it because the ivory tower has stood for too long and its time has come?" In fact, Yang Kuan's shock wasn't any weaker than Zhang Ze's. He had heard of the ivory battle platform and knew that the 5th floor of the ivory tower was the legendary ivory battle platform. However, a legend was a legend after all. For so many years, no one had ever opened the ivory battle platform. Even the imperial family had sent several Xintian realm warriors, but none of them had opened the ivory battle platform and ended in failure. City Lord Yang, have you ever heard of the ivory battle platform? Staring at Yang Kuan's eyes, Zhang Ze said, "It is said that the 5th floor of the ivory tower is the ivory battle platform. Once it is opened, someone will definitely die." Zhang Ze, this is just a rumor. Don't believe it, Yang Kuan said with a serious face. Humph. Don't think that I don't know that among the 3 warriors on the 5th floor of the ivory tower, besides Zhang Hu and Yang Yu, the other one must be from the City Lord Mansion. Zhang Ze snorted coldly and said, "If anything happens to Zhang Hu, your City Lord Mansion and I will be irreconcilable." Zhang Ze was very depressed, very depressed. Yesterday, he had discussed with Zhang Hu that they would wait for Yang Yu on the 5th floor of the ivory tower and then kill him. He had studied it many times. Only those who died on the 5th floor of the ivory tower were truly dead, not fake death. Although it was a little strange, Zhang Ze attributed it to the fact that the 5th floor of the ivory tower was the real ivory battle platform. He did not find it strange. But now, the 5th floor of the ivory tower was shaking, which meant that the legendary ivory battle platform was likely to be opened. With Zhang Hu's strength, he did not need to open the ivory battle platform to kill Yang Yu. Now, it seemed that there was a problem with the third person, a big problem. Zhang Ze, I will also say this. If Yu is killed, I will not let you off. Yang Kuan was also a hot-tempered person. Besides, he was also puzzled about this matter. Why did Zhang Ze say that it was related to him? Let's wait and see. Clenching his fists, Zhang Ze suppressed his urge to attack and said coldly. Zhang Ze knew that he and Yang Kuan were evenly matched. If they fought here, no one would gain the upper hand. Instead, they would be laughed at by others. Moreover, although he was worried, he always thought that Zhang Hu could kill Yang Yu and even the expert invited by Yang Kuan. Swish! At the same time, at the gate of Ivory City, a martial artist in white was standing there. Looking at the crystal ball in his hand, the martial artist in white murmured, "It seems that their method of hiding their aura is superb." Even the aura-tracking magic treasure could not detect their aura. This is the 10th city. I hope I will not be disappointed. I can find them here. After saying that, the martial artist in white flashed and disappeared mysteriously. There seems to be someone. Did you notice? After the martial artist in white disappeared, a martial artist at the early stage of Inborn Realm frowned and asked, "Someone? Are you blind? Why didn't I see him?" A short martial artist next to the martial artist said, "Am I blind? It doesn't make sense." The martial artist at the early stage of Inborn Realm scratched his head and said, "Let's go, or we will miss the ivory tower." The short martial artist urged, "Go, go, go. Buzz." After the two martial artists disappeared, the martial artist in white appeared again. "Ivory tower." The white-clothed martial artist muttered softly. Immediately, his body flashed, and he rushed into Ivory City in an instant. He charged toward the ivory tower. Boom! On the 5th floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu and Zhang Hu separated as soon as they touched each other. Both of them were floating in the air, holding the white flying sword in his hand. Zhang Hu's primordial qi burst out of his body, revealing a powerful aura. Opposite him, Ningyu was wearing the phantom armor and holding the soul-breaking sword. On the blade of the sword, traces of purple flames were constantly jumping. "You really surprised me. Not only do you have a lower-grade heaven stage flying sword, but you even have an earth stage magic treasure that can burst out the speed of the peak of the middle stage of real martial realm." Zhang Hu raised the corner of his mouth and said gloomily, "Moreover, you have the luck to control a kind of flame, the wind, thunder, fire." Chapter 165. The people of the corpse sect are indeed eccentric. Every one of them wants to refine others into corpse puppets. Ningyu's face was expressionless as he said, "Since you want to see the corpse so much, fine, I'll fulfill your wish." With that, Ningyu's soul force moved, and a dark golden corpse that was taller than a person flew out from the storage ring. Dark gold spirit corpse. The moment he saw the corpse, Zhang Hu's expression changed greatly, and he couldn't help but take a few steps back. As a peerless genius of the corpse sect's ghost talent hall, Zhang Hu knew about the dark gold spirit corpse and its strength. Even the weakest dark gold spirit corpse had the battle strength of the late stage of the true martial realm. If Zhang Hu's guess was correct, the dark gold spirit corpse in front of him was at least at the peak of the true martial realm. "Ningyu, why do you have the dark gold spirit corpse of the corpse sect? Are you also a member of the corpse sect?" Zhang Hu frowned and said in a deep voice, "In the corpse sect, only those with high status were qualified to have the dark gold spirit corpse." As for why Ningyu had the dark gold spirit corpse, Zhang Hu was very puzzled. Noisy, with a low roar, Ningyu gave the dark gold spirit corpse an order to kill Zhang Hu. "Ming! Bye!" After receiving Ningyu's order, the dark gold spirit corpse let out a powerful voice. It immediately leaped high and charged towards Zhang Hu. Not good. A semi-intelligent dark gold spirit corpse. Its strength is at least at the half-step origin core realm. Seeing the dark gold spirit corpse speak human language, Zhang Hu's face turned completely gloomy. If the dark gold spirit corpse in front of him could only display the battle strength of the peak of the true martial realm, then there was nothing for him to be afraid of. After all, the dark gold spirit corpse was only a corpse and was slightly weaker than a true peak true martial realm martial artist. Moreover, he still had a trump card that he hadn't used yet. He believed that once he used it, defeating the dark gold spirit corpse would only be a matter of time. However, the strength of a semi-intelligent dark gold spirit corpse was comparable to a half-step origin core realm martial artist. Even though he was very confident that he was a genius of the Ghost Talent Hall, facing a half-step origin core realm martial artist, he definitely wouldn't have the chance to escape. Run! At this moment, there was only one thought in Zhang Hu's mind, and that was to escape. He wasn't an indecisive person. The instant the dark gold spirit corpse charged out, his figure flashed as he charged towards the fourth floor of the ivory tower. Bang! However, he had clearly forgotten that he was currently on the ivory battle platform. The surrounding yuan qi light waves had forcefully bounced him back. Once the ivory battle platform opened, there would definitely be deaths. Zhang Hu, you're digging your own grave. The corners of his mouth curled up. This time, it was Ningyu who laughed. Ningyu, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. Zhang Hu's expression became extremely gloomy. He stomped on the ground, and his body turned into an afterimage as he charged straight at Yang Yu. At this moment, Zhang Hu made up his mind to capture Yang Yu and threaten Ningyu. Die. However, Zhang Hu had clearly underestimated the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's reaction speed. Just as he moved, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse had already appeared in front of him in a flash as its huge palm fiercely smashed towards his head. The Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's palm contained a powerful energy fluctuation. Not to mention Zhang Hu, even a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm would be heavily injured if they were hit by it. Not good. Zhang Hu's pupils rapidly shrank. He could no longer care about attacking Yang Yu as he hastily retreated. Bang! Although Zhang Hu had retreated at the first moment, a cold light suddenly shot out from the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's eyes and accurately struck Zhang Hu's chest. The powerful energy contained in the cold light had nearly pierced through Zhang Hu's chest. Poochie! A fishy sweetness came from his throat, causing Zhang Hu to spit out a mouthful of blood as his face turned deathly pale. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Fourth Palm, Dark Tyrant. At this moment, Ningyu's eyes emitted a bright light as he rose from the ground and arrived before Zhang Hu in an instant. Gathering his soul power on his wrist, he ruthlessly chopped towards Zhang Hu's head. Looking at the palm that was continuously expanding in his eyes, Zhang Hu revealed an expression of despair. He only cared about blocking the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's next attack, but he did not expect Ningyu to already be in front of him. Furthermore, Ningyu had executed an even more powerful soul attack. Soul power, get out of here! Although he was already in a hopeless situation, Zhang Hu did not plan to give up. He released all his soul power and formed a soul net, hoping that it could block Ningyu's netherworld Samsara Palm. Poochie! Dreams were plentiful, but reality was harsh. The power of the netherworld Samsara Palm's fourth palm, Dark Tyrant, was not something that Zhang Hu's grade 4 soul power could block. The instant his soul power came into contact with the palm, it was blasted apart. The trembling that came from the depths of Zhang Hu's soul caused despair to appear in his eyes. Swoosh! Ningyu held the soul-breaking sword in his hand and arrived in front of Zhang Hu in the blink of an eye. He placed the sword on the latter's neck. Looking at the soul-breaking sword on his neck, Zhang Hu quickly begged, Ningyu, let me go. As long as you let me go, I can be your slave and listen to your orders for the rest of my life. You want to be my slave now? It's too late. After saying that, Ningyu withdrew his sword and directly chopped Zhang Hu's neck. At this moment, the exceptional genius of the Corpse Sex Ghost Talent Hall, Zhang Hu, died a miserable death. Ding! After Zhang Hu died, his body fell backward. The black iron ball that he was tightly holding also fell to the ground. Ningyu picked up the black iron ball on the ground. His eyes slightly narrowed as he said in a deep voice, This should be the corpse-een ball of the corpse sect. Luckily, I didn't hesitate and killed Zhang Hu with one strike. Otherwise, if he had detonated the corpse-een ball, the consequences would have been unimaginable. In his previous life, Ningyu had some understanding of the corpse-een ball of the corpse sect. The power of the corpse-een ball was enormous. Once it silently detonated, even a late-stage, true martial realm martial artist would die on the spot. Now I'm lucky. After storing the corpse-een ball and the dark gold spirit corpse into his storage ring, Ningyu started searching Zhang Hu's body. A moment later, a black token appeared in his hand. On the lower left side of the token, there was a ghost character. Next to the ghost character was a small 12 character. Could it be that Zhang, who is ranked 12th in the Corpse Sect's Ghost Talent Hall? The competition in the Ghost Talent Hall was also very fierce. Every year, there would be a ranking competition. During the ranking competition, killing was allowed. It might be useful if I keep it. He casually threw the black token into his storage ring and held Zhang Hu's boneless sword in his hand. Although it is a mid-grade heaven rank flying sword, it is still more convenient for me to use the soul-breaking sword. After waving the boneless sword a few times, Ningyu shrugged and threw it into his storage ring. Comparatively speaking, he still preferred to use the soul-breaking sword. After all, the soul-breaking sword was a devouring flying sword, while the boneless sword was only an ordinary mid-grade heaven rank flying sword. Rumble. Just at this moment, a rumbling sound was heard, and the surrounding origin chi instantly dissipated. Chapter 166. When the ivory battle platform opens, someone will definitely die. Feeling the disappearance of the ivory battle platform, Ningyu murmured, "Now that Zhang Hu is dead, it's no wonder the ivory battle platform disappeared. Zhang Hu's body is here. If Yang Yu sees it, it will be troublesome." Seeing Zhang Hu's body on the ground, Ningyu was worried for a while. Yang Yu would definitely wake up later. Once he saw that he had killed Zhang Hu, he would most likely tell his father, Yang Kuan, Zhang Hu was a member of the Corpse Sect. If this matter reached the ears of the experts of the Corpse Sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, it was not realistic to kill Yang Yu. After all, this was Ivory City. Killing Zhang Hu was already troublesome enough. If he killed Yang Yu, he could imagine that he would not be able to leave Ivory City. Moreover, Yang Yu had no grievances with him, so there was no need for him to kill Yang Yu. Right? Suddenly, Ningyu's face lit up. He quickly walked to Yang Yu's side and searched his body. A moment later, a small dagger appeared in Ningyu's hand. A middle-grade earth dagger? Looking at the dagger in his hand, Ningyu was slightly stunned. He immediately said, "Forget it, just accept it. Being killed by a middle-grade earth dagger is not an injustice to you." He took the dagger and made a cut on Zhang Hu's body. Then, Ningyu put the dagger in Yang Yu's hand and carried him to Zhang Hu's side. After doing all this, Ningyu pretended to fall on the ground. His breath was a little weak. Ouch! About a quarter of an hour later, Yang Yu opened his eyes. "What's going on?" Feeling the pain coming from his head, Yang Yu raised his wrist and wanted to rub his head. However, just as he raised his hand, he saw the dagger in his hand. "Where did I put this dagger?" "No, Zhang Hu." Yang Yu slightly frowned. Just as he was about to speak, he saw Zhang Hu lying in front of him. Without much time to think, he jumped up from the ground and looked at Zhang Hu with vigilance. He shouted, "Zhang Hu, I didn't expect you to be from the Corpse Sect. Today, either you die or I die." As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Yu tensed up and stared at Zhang Hu. However, he soon realized that something was wrong with Zhang Hu. Zhang Hu was no longer breathing, and he could even vaguely see traces of blood on his neck. Zhang Hu was killed. Yang Yu looked at Zhang Hu and then at the dagger in his hand. He was confused. Right, Ningyu. It must be Ningyu who killed him. Thinking of this, Yang Yu quickly looked for Ningyu. However, when he saw that Ningyu was lying on the other side, his heart was slightly shaken. Could it be that he was really the one who killed Zhang Hu? But this was too nonsensical. F***CK. At this moment, Ningyu rubbed his head and opened his eyes. Looking at the dagger in Yang Yu's hand and the bloodstain on Zhang Hu's neck, Ningyu couldn't help but curse. He said in disbelief, "Brother Yang, you killed Zhang Hu from the Corpse Sect?" "Younger brother Ning, do you know what's going on?" Yang Yu raised the dagger in his hand and asked, "I felt that I was hit by Zhang Hu's attack. Why was Zhang Hu already dead when I woke up?" "You ask me? Who am I supposed to ask?" Ningyu rolled his eyes at Yang Yu and said, "After you fainted, I was also defeated by Zhang Hu in one move. After that, I don't know." Looking at the dagger in your hand and the bloodstain on Zhang Hu's neck, isn't it obvious that you killed Zhang Hu? Yang Yu murmured, "Zhang Hu was killed by me, but I don't know." Don't worry about it. Anyway, Zhang Hu is from the Corpse Sect. It doesn't matter if you killed him." Waving his hand, Ningyu said, but the Zhang family doesn't know that Zhang who is from the Yin Corpse sect, so this matter is a bit troublesome. Yes, the Zhang family will definitely seize this matter and launch an attack on the city lord's mansion. At this time, Yang Yu no longer cared about who killed Zhang Hu. Instead, he was worried about the safety of the city lord's mansion. After all, the Zhang family in Ivory City was a branch of the Zhang family in the capital. Once they launched an attack on the city lord's mansion, the Zhang family would definitely not sit idly by. Moreover, with the relationship between the Zhang family and the Imperial family would most likely not come forward to help the city lord mansion. Instead, they would let the city lord's mansion be annexed by the Zhang family. Ningyu said, there is only one way. Yang Yu hurriedly asked, what way? With a cold expression, Ningyu said in a deep voice, since you have already killed Zhang Hu, you might as well go all the way and destroy his body. You mean, destroy the body and destroy the evidence? Yang Yu said in surprise. That's right. Nodding his head, Ningyu said, at this time, you must show the boldness of the young city lord. Whether you want to leave a handle for the Zhang family and watch them annex the city lord's mansion, or whether you want to save the city lord's mansion from danger, it's all up to you. Hearing Ningyu's words, Yang Yu fell into deep thought. A moment later, Yang Yu took out a bag of white powder, clenched his teeth, and sprinkled it on Zhang Hu's body. Chi-chi. When the white powder came into contact with Zhang Hu's body, it made a sizzling sound. Then, in the blink of an eye, Zhang Hu's body turned into nothingness. Corpse-dissolving powder. Ningyu's eyes narrowed. He knew that the white powder Yang Yu took out was a corpse-dissolving powder made from several kinds of medicinal herbs. It could turn a corpse into powder in a short period of time. After Zhang Hu's body disappeared, Ningyu came to the crystal ball and placed his palm on it. Okay, it has been delayed for so long. It's time to pass this stage. Hiss. Just as Ningyu's palm touched the crystal ball, traces of yuan qi flowed into the crystal ball through his palm. Not long after, a shining star lit up on the crystal ball. After a while, the second star lit up. Then the third, the fourth. It was only when the fifth star lit up that Ningyu retracted his palm. Creak! The moment Ningyu retracted his palm, the stone door leading to the sixth floor suddenly opened. Brother Yang, since the stone door is open, why don't we enter the sixth floor together? Ningyu asked when he saw the stone door open. Shaking his head, Yang Yu said, only those who light up 5 stars can enter the 6th floor. If a martial artist who hasn't lit up a star tries to force his way into the 6th layer, then a cold light will attack him and blast him out. Brother Yang, with your strength, it is certain that you will light up 5 stars. Ningyu was not in a hurry to enter the 6th floor. Instead, he said, I will wait for Brother Yang. When the time comes, we will enter the 6th floor together. At least we can look after each other. Swoosh! Yang Yu did not say anything. His figure flashed, and he came to the side of the crystal ball. Taking a deep breath, he placed his palm on the crystal ball. Buzz! As traces of essence entered the crystal ball, very soon, a star lit up. After a while, the second star lit up. 10 minutes later, the third star lit up. Half an hour later, the fourth star lit up. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.